Alright, alright. No point in leaving you guys waiting too long. It's not going to be a very long stream today. Just a little bonus stream I got planned today. Just to recoup with everyone. We did this already. When I finished playing all the Gen 1 Pokemon games, I did a little ranking. We did pull up a tier list. We just started throwing everyone around in random letters, willy-nilly. So let's start doing it with Johto as well, with the Gen 2 boys and girls. This is only going to be like an hour-long stream, I'm sure. This won't be very long. Just gonna hang out for a little bit. Gen 2 variety stream when? I can't do a Gen 2 variety stream. There's like no Gen 2 side games. Let me see, what are the Gen 2 side games? The reason I could do the Gen 1 variety stream is because they actually made enough random Pokemon games that I could do that. Let's see, Generation 2 was Pokemon Gold and Silver, Pokemon Crystal, of course. Pokemon Stadium 2, which is the sequel, obviously, to Pokemon Stadium, which I already streamed on the channel, the original. And Pokemon Puzzle Challenge. That's it. Those are the only two Gen 2 games, other than the, you know, the mainline games. So not much of a variety, is it? And I actually just want to play Pokemon Stadium 2, like legit. You know, spend a couple hours with it. You like the Pokemon themselves in Gen 2, but the actual generation wasn't all that well put together? I don't know how I feel about that. It does kind of feel like when Gen 2 of Pokemon came out, they were still just kind of riding and relying on the hype of Gen 1. Gen 2 didn't really, like, reinvigorate people's fascination with Pokemon. It was kind of just, you know, an addendum to that generation. It wasn't until the third generation that people were like, whoa, now this is new. I think a lot of that reason has to do with the fact that the anime, which was one of the most popular things about Pokemon at the time, wasn't doing anything different. It was the same old Misty, Brock, go from town to town, who cares, Ash wants to be the best. People are tired of it, I think. I mean, maybe not tired of it, but it just wasn't exciting. So they weren't really reaching out or breaking new ground. And Gen 2 doesn't help that the Game Boy Color also wasn't, like, doing a whole lot to differentiate itself from the original Game Boy. Just a little bit of color. But yeah, with the new hardware of the Game Boy Advance and a stronger focus on legendary Pokemon, I think, just stronger legendaries in general, and a new series to the anime, and all that fun stuff, I think that helped kind of gather more hype. So Johto's might be one of the more forgotten generations, but I still like it. I don't know if it's my favorite or anything, but I won't deny that at least Heart Gold and Soul Silver are great games. I don't know why I don't just pop on over. What am I doing? Oh yeah, here's my I forgot if I'm capturing my desktop, that means you guys see what I see. Here's the list I made for reference. Every time I need to reference and remember Pokemon games, I just compile them together. So you can see the Gen 2 block, it's pretty small compared to the Gen 1 block. And then you can see all the other blocks for every generation start to get pretty big. It's just Gen 2 that's pretty quiet. But you know, it only took a couple of years for Ruby and Sapphire to come out. Oh, and then those are just personal notes. Because of course I just can't stop playing Pokemon. Anyways, welcome guys. So if you remember this, what we're looking at here, this is the Kanto list. Let's go full screen. This is the Kanto list. You guys remember this? This is how we capped off Gen 1. Just a casual little list of, hey, I like these Pokemon and I don't like these Pokemon for these reasons. So we're gonna do that again. I was gonna put chat on, but I forgot. I gotta do a lot of work for that. Like, I've got chat here. First of all, you're awfully ugly, aren't you? So I've got to put the... If I'm gonna do this, I've got to, like, find the space for chat. And then I've got to put the background on as well. Which is, like, not even here. Although I think if I add a color source... Oh yeah, there it is. We're good. On the wrong layer. There you go. Now you don't look so bad. Just needed a little touch up is all. Well, I should crop out... No, it's live chat. There. Not so bad. I called you ugly? I mean, you're not looking great today. I don't know what to say. You're definitely not looking great, but it's because I didn't give myself much time to touch you up. Yeah, you really don't look good. That extra line, what is that? I don't know why there's an extra line there. Can I just cut it out? There. I try to be such a perfectionist, but it's not good to do that while I'm already live. I was trying to do this before streaming, but I just couldn't get it done in time. Doesn't matter. Anyways, here we are. Johto is your favorite region for pure content and scope, having both Kanto and Johto in one game. I mean, it is pretty insane. I'm not going to deny that Johto, like just from the game, if we're just talking the games themselves, the original Red and Blue versus the original Gold and Silver, Gold and Silver trumps Red and Blue just in sheer amount of content and replayability. And like bug fixes and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I think Gold and Silver is a whole league above Red and Blue. It's quite good. One of the best Game Boy games, probably. Despite all the troubles I was having with it. And you know what? We've got to talk about... You know, I'll talk about that at the end of the stream. If you guys stick to the end of the stream, we'll talk a little bit more about the games themselves, okay? In my streams with them. Because I do have something to talk about that's important and relevant. But we'll get there. Let's just do the type chart first. Not the type chart, for goodness sakes. The rankings here, our tier list. Let's just start with the tier list. So let's take a look at the Kanto tier list. Make sure there's not any other adjustments we want to make in lieu of, you know, we've had some time to think on it and come back. So I've made a couple adjustments myself. If you guys will remember, Jigglypuff here, I had Jigglypuff in the A tier, or the S tier originally. I decided to drop Jigglypuff down to A tier just because I don't see why. Like, I love Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff like the exact same. There's no reason to split them up. I didn't want them both up in S tier. Look, like, we've got to... I'm going to end up flooding the S tier if I'm not careful. I've got to be very strict with what's considered an S tier Pokemon, right? So I gotta be a little bit more stringent. For that reason, I think we'll drop Pidgey as well. I don't know why Pidgey's an S tier. Look, I love Pidgey a lot, but we gotta be really picky with the S tier Pokemon, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna drop Pidgey out as well. Everyone else up here can stay S tier. I don't care what you guys think about Lickitung. I like Lickitung. That's all that matters. Lickitung is in my S tier list, okay? As far as all our A's, I mean, these are all pretty A tier Pokemon. I don't know what to tell you. They're pretty great. Why isn't Jinx up there? Come on, man. Don't make me have this discussion again. Pretty good A tier Pokemon. I don't think I'm fussy about anything here. Everything here is pretty A tier. Pretty comfortably. It is still a little funny seeing Executor here, but I cannot bring myself to put Executor down to B tier. I do like the boy. The several lads in one. Don't know what to say. Now, you'll see I bumped Flareon up to A tier as well. I felt silly having Flareon in B tier. Jinx Evolution hopes forever. Dude, I would be so down for a Jinx Evolution. If they wanted to figure out how to save that Pokemon somehow, I would be very okay with it. And I'm not talking about like a Dynamax, like a Gigantamax Jinx or whatever. I'm talking a proper evolution. Maybe even a regional form could save Jinx, right? Who knows what they've got planned in the new games. What is it, like Spanish culture? Maybe they'll have like a maracas dancing Jinx, right? I'd be down with that. Slim Jinx up a little bit and swap the ice type out for I don't know, fire and psychic. That'd be cool. Come on, Pokemon. I'm excited to see all the new designs they come up with, man. We'll rank the new Pokemon as well. Alright. Jolteon's definitely an S tier in Gen 1 though. Well, okay, so here's the thing. This has nothing to do with the games. In case this is your first tier list, I feel like I gotta zoom out a bit. I feel like that was a bit too much. I want to be able to see the A... who am I kidding? The A tier is gonna be clogged. Oh, right, but this is its own list, because Johto and Kanto have different lists. Okay, never mind then. We'll keep it here. Just so we can see the whole tier in one page. I'm not talking about the games, right? When I'm ranking Pokemon, I'm purely just doing it based on design. I just like these little guys, right? whether I think they look good or not. It's such a basic tier list. I don't care. It's got nothing to do with mechanics or anything. It's just how much I like their design. I think Jolteon's A tier. S tier is a coveted spot. You gotta be just exceptionally tuned to my tastes to hit S tier. Fire, ice, castanet wielding, flamenco dancer, Jinx. No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Alright, here's the B tier. B tier, I mean, these are still good. Like, I don't really hate anyone in B tier. I think B tier Pokemon are still fine. There's just, again, there's just like one little thing that's off about them that really does bother me. Whatever that might end up being. Like, I just find Squirtle to be remarkably underwhelming. Because I am quite a fan of both the Bulbasaur and Charmander designs. I just find the Squirtle to be a little bit more underwhelming compared to them. Stuff like that. Magneton just feels like... I just wish they did just a little bit more with Magneton. I like the idea of the 3 Magnemites, but... It's literally just 3 Magnemites. Like, just like a new coat of paint or something. Bigger magnets. I don't know. Just something small like that. I don't know why Electrode looks... I don't know how a Voltorb evolves into Electrode and it turns upside down. Why would it not just flip the other way around, you know? Stuff like that. But these are still good Pokemon, all things considered. Oh, you just like Jolteon's aesthetic and spiky design? I mean, I do too. I definitely do too. I mean, if you compare Jolteon's design to Zapdos, I mean, they're both designed in a similar way where they're like, oh, it's an electric type Pokemon. Let's make it spiky and sharp. And I think they do succeed at giving Jolteon that design better than giving Zapdos that design. There's no doubt about that. And of the Gen 1 evolutions, Jolteon is my favorite. Design-wise, you can see I've dropped Vaporeon down to B tier, but again, it's just because I just don't. It just makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't like thinking about an undersea mammal like that. You know, it's just kind of weird. Same reason I don't feel so good about platypi. I think that's the plural for a platypus. It's just kind of uncomfortable to think about. It's like furry, but also not. I don't know, but I did initially have Vaporeon in the C tier. I bumped Vaporeon up a little bit. Here you can see we're really starting to hit designs I'm not a big fan of. Down in the C and below. Well, C and D tier, again, mistakes is a special category, but C and D tier Pokemon. These are Pokemon I really do struggle to defend, design-wise, one way or another. D tier being Pokemon that I truly just don't like looking at for various reasons. And then, of course, the mistake Pokemon, I just don't feel comfortable ranking these Pokemon. Because I can't overcome my own bias towards Game Freak's incompetence. Or bias against Game Freak's incompetence. And that they just straight up messed up the design for those Pokemon. It's hard. It's hard. I don't know what to think about it. Harsh read on marine mammals. Wailord gonna be sweating when Gen 3 rolls around. I mean, I guess it's not mammalian. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like, it came from a little furry land critter. Look at Eevee. Just cute little, like, fox thing. How did it go underwater and develop, like, a tail and fins and stuff? And they didn't even go all the way with it, though, so it doesn't have, like, scales or gills. It's still kind of, like, half not a water Pokemon. It's just kind of a confusing design, but... I guess I really don't hate it. It does feel weird putting it in the C tier. Even comparing it with other water Pokemon like Golduck in the C tier, I don't know, Vaporeon's a step up. So that's the Kanto list. We've already done this. We've done this. Say the same about Gura. I guess if you want to... No, absolutely not. She's got a little hoodie on. I think that's a far cry from, you know, actual... Anyways. Let's move on to Johto now. Move on to Johto. Oh, I just realized I should be cropping, and you know, I know this, and if I took more time before the stream, I would have done this, but yeah, you crop the chat background to the actual cutoff on the chat window. There you go, a little bit better. How do I feel about Vivillon's design? Or Vivillon? Oh, I don't know what that is. Vivillon? Is that the butterfly? Is Vivillon the regional butterfly? Just tell me, I don't want to look it up. Am I right? Is Vivillon the butterfly whose wings change based on the region that it's caught in? Like geographically? Yeah, the regional butterfly. That thing's super cool. I mean, it is kind of tough to rank a Pokemon that has like at least 20 different designs, technically speaking. But that conceptually is so cool to me. It's at least an A rank, I'm pretty sure. I won't be able to definitively say until we get there, but I'm pretty sure that's going to rank very high, if I'm being honest. I love that idea. It's so cool. What I don't love is that I can only ever get one variation because I only live in one region. That's the only thing I don't like about it, but anyways, neither here nor there. Okay, Johto time, boys. We already know how we feel about Chikorita. Chikorita is ranking very high. Chikorita might be my favorite starter of all time. I'm not positive. I still don't think it's S tier. I still don't think Chikorita's S tier. I think it evolves to be S tier. Here's the thing, right? Bayleaf and Meganium, for me, are S tier. Some of the best starters ever, and Middle Evolution and Final Evolution, I absolutely love the things. Chikorita itself, maybe A tier. I just don't know. Maybe Chikorita doesn't live quite up to what it becomes. But I love what it becomes. Absolutely. Some of the best darn starters ever. I don't care if that's controversial, if people don't like Chikorita. Don't care. This is my list. Chikorita is pretty darn high. Evolutions are even higher. Now we take a look at Cyndaquil. And Quilava and Typhlosion. I think these are all definitely at least A tier. I think they're A tier. I think I'm just going to leave them at A tier. That's okay. I don't want to bump them up to S. But they're A tier. Now, Typhlosion, I don't know. I feel like at a certain point, they're just not doing enough. It really is just getting bigger and angrier. And that kind of does bother me about Typhlosion. I think Typhlosion's maybe a B. I do kind of wish there was just more going on. It's a very safe design, like almost too safe, you know? Totodile, another really solid. I don't know, they did a really good job with the starters in this gen. I don't know what to tell you. But again, for Alligator, it was going to get bumped down, but I might even bump for Alligator down. No, I can't go that far. Maybe I'll just leave for Alligator a B. That's fine. I just kind of really don't like the claws that he's got. That really bothers me. And, there's something interesting happening here with the design on Totodile's chest. So you see how he's got like this kind of sharp, pointy yellow pattern? And for Alligator, that's still present, but for some reason it disappears when evolving to Croconaw in favor of like what looks like a caveman, like Fred Flintstone garb. I'm not really sure how that happened. Croconaw also seems to have like just a diamond? Like the spike turned into a diamond? And then goes back into multiple spikes and it evolves again. Kind of strange. It almost seems like this almost feels like, if you look at this almost looks like they designed Totodile, Croconaw for Alligator, and then they went back and redesigned Croconaw for some reason without considering what they'd already established for the Totodile and for Alligator. I imagine the original Croconaw looked slightly different and it made more sense. But I'm actually going to put the hit on for Alligator. Do I have those names right? Is it for Alligator? Is that the name of this thing? Or am I thinking of another Pokemon? Guys, if I'm saying the wrong name, you gotta tell me. It's Totodile, Croconaw, for Alligator, right? I think so. Oh man, these tier lists are also testing my memory as well. Sentret. Pretty cutie. I like Sentret. Now, here's what's interesting though, right? Sentret and Furret. Sentret is a flying squirrel, I would say. I think Sentret's a flying squirrel. Because it's got the big flabby arms, it's got the big squirrel tail. I feel like the design is based on a flying squirrel, but then for some reason the flying squirrel evolves into a ferret. And this is definitely a ferret. The design is very good. It's unique. It doesn't look like a real-life ferret. It does look like a Pokemon, but it's still derived. They're both good designs in respective to their original animals, but I just don't understand why they do this sometimes, where they go into a Pokemon design, they're like, yeah, it's a flying squirrel. Anyways, it turns into a totally different animal, and it does, instead of developing on the existing concept and what it's derived from, they kind of just jump ship and choose a different design entirely, and they're just like, well, close enough. I don't know why they always do that. I think I'm gonna put Sentret in B tier. I'm not sure. Sentret might be A tier, but again, I like to consider the evolution in these tier lists as well, and I can't ignore just how unusual this is, the Sentret to Furret transition. Like there's no design choices that are carried over other than stripes, I guess, if that's anything. Stripy tail. I just don't understand. These could have been different Pokemon entirely, and it would have been fine. That was just early Pokemon, right? Maybe, I guess. Like, that's kind of one of the reasons I want to do these tier lists, is I want to critically evaluate each generation's designs a little bit as I go into them, to get a good feel for how each generation is designed and how those design choices are made. So as I play more games on the channel, we'll rank more generations, and we'll start to see if they get a little better at sticking to themes when it comes to evolutions and stuff like that. But yeah, right now I do see, because this was a problem in Gen 1 as well, and I know at the very least in Gen 3 there is that one Pokemon, Carvana, that evolves into a shark. So they take a piranha and evolve it into a shark. So they do this again in the next gen at least once. I guess I don't hate that idea entirely, but it really is just such a strange one. I'd be more okay with it if more design choices were carried over, but again, like, there's nothing. There's a ring on Sentret that just goes away. Furret gets these little whisker designs that aren't suggested or present in Sentret. They've both got long tails, I guess. The flabby arms from the flying squirrel element are gone. It's got long, like, bunny ears. Those somehow develop into spiky ears on the top that aren't even that long. It's just so strange. But I like Furret, so I don't want to drop Furret down to B tier. So I think I'm going to drop Sentret down to B tier, because, I mean, the name Sentret doesn't really imply flying squirrel either. That also sounds like it's developing into a ferret. But there's no ferret design present in Sentret. So I'm going to put Sentret down in B tier, and I'm okay with that. And I hope you guys agree, at least a little bit. Hoot Hoot, just a solid little owl. I don't know what to tell you. Although, you know, I've never actually understood what's happening with the eyes. I don't know if you guys understand this one, but the eye design where they've got the black circle that sort of connects into a cross and then comes out as spikes on the head. This might be referencing something, and I'm just unaware of what that is. But I'm not sure what the spikes are on Hoot Hoot's head. If I understood that better, I might appreciate that design choice better. But the thing is, it's not like that's a design choice that impedes it anyways. Like, I just think it looks good. It's funny that he's got red eyes, but that doesn't even really look off-putting. He's still kind of a little cutie. He just looks like an owl. It doesn't look weird that he's got red eyes, unless you think about it too much. And of course, Hoot Hoot evolves into Noctowl. I mean, that's a pretty solid evolution. We're keeping a theme here. What is interesting is the idea of Hoot Hoot standing on one leg all the time does kind of disappear when it evolves, and I'm not really sure why, because that's like one of the most distinguishing things about Hoot Hoot, and yet when it evolves, it's just on two legs now, and the one leg thing is just abandoned. Not really sure. I always read Hoot Hoot's eyebrows as clock arms and the eyelashes as gears, because they added the clock feature. I mean, Hoot Hoot is a Pokemon that's only available at night, so that's not even a bad idea. That might be it. If they were going for gears, you'd think maybe the spokes would go all the way around the eyes. Instead, they kind of read as eyelashes. But I definitely do see the clock arms thing. That definitely could be it. I was thinking like maybe like a compass or something, but I don't know. It just doesn't, like, nothing really makes definitive sense with it. Anyways, Hoot Hoot evolving into Noctowl, I think it's good, but Noctowl is just a little boring. And I don't like that, again, the most defining thing about Hoot Hoot is kind of just abandoned. The one leg, standing on one leg element. One thing I really do want to see introduced in a future generation is an evolution of Noctowl. Make this a 3-stage Pokemon, because Noctowl, statistically speaking, already isn't that good. Noctowl's stats are not great. It is struggling nowadays. It doesn't even hit 400, I think, in a base stat total. I think Noctowl needs an evolution, and I would love to see this thing turn into like a Ghost and Psychic type, right? Because here it's normal and flying, and then here it's, I think it's, wait, does it get the Psychic typing? Am I crazy, or does Noctowl still stay normal flying? So maybe when it evolves, it would become Ghost flying. I think that'd be so cool to evolve Noctowl into like a, I don't know, Hauntowl or something. Name pending. But I think that'd be cool. Give it like these crazy like torn up wings and this really scary looking face, because it does get stern as it evolves. Develop on that concept more. Make it kind of sharp and phantom like a true ruler of the night, an owl banshee. That'd be cool. Ghost flying, do that. But for now, Noctowl is just kind of boring. I don't know what to tell you. Ladybug, he's kind of a cutie. Ladybug's a cutie. I don't know if I'm going to put Ladybug in the A tier, though. That is kind of a push. More regional variants and added evolutions in general would be great. Regionals were the best feature added in forever. For sure, I love the regional variants thing, especially because that's a concept that was, like, conceptually, regional variants were introduced back in Gen 2, but they never actually implemented them. So I think that's a super cool feature. But I also know there's a lot of fans of Pokemon, like my brother actually. He hates that Pokemon keeps on trying to recycle old designs and bring them back. He hates how like they can't just leave a Pokemon alone. Every Pokemon has to have an evolution, so they'll keep bringing up Pokemon from generations ago and just tacking on another evolution for the sake of it. He hates that. I love it. But that just shows the disparity in Pokemon fans. You can't please everyone, right? Anytime Pokemon does anything, there's always going to be a bunch of people that love it and a bunch of people that hate it. That's just the curse of Pokemon, having such a large fan base that's just also so passionate about it, right? When I saw that they're bringing back Dynamaxing, what are they called? Raid battles. When I saw that raid battles are coming back for Scarlet and Violet, I got excited. I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. But I know that there's people that were like, oh, come on, raid battles? Really? One of the worst things about Sword and Shield, and they're going to put it in Scarlet and Violet? That, like, upset people. I got excited. So that just shows the difference between, Pokemon fans. Anyways, I just don't know what to say about Ladybug. It's just a ladybug, but he's got like little punching gloves, I guess, but it's not actually a fighting type. Nothing really happens with that when it evolves either. So I don't know, Ladybug's just kind of boring. Ledian, I like how Ledian is now like flying properly, opens up its wings and goes. But I don't know, it doesn't really save its design or anything. It's just kind of boring. B tier Pokemon. There's a lot of Pokemon that end up in here just because they're kind of boring. Ledian, obvious S tier. It's a punching ladybug. I don't dislike the idea. I don't know. I just have a hard time putting this on the A tier is all. I like Ladybug. I like Ladybug in the B tier. Ledian, I like that Ledian is not a bad... Ledian is based on a common rider? I don't know what that is. Do I have to look that up now? Let me look up common rider. What the heck is this? Some Japanese thing I'm not aware of. A Japanese superhero media franchise. Are you sure then? Are you sure that Pokemon was bold enough to design a Pokemon based off of an existing franchise? They already got themselves in trouble with the Kadabra design legally because of the famous psychic or something that uses spoons. I think that's just conjecture. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true. I don't buy it. I think maybe you're just drawing comparisons because of the eye shape. But if that is true, then that is a bold design choice on their behalf because they know Pokemon is an internationally beloved franchise by this point anyways. So to have a design that only makes sense in Japanese context is weird. And also bold because of, again, it's an existing franchise. How can you do that? You gotta be careful with stuff like that. Imagine if they made like a Mickey Mouse Pokemon. They'd get in a lot of trouble, man. Alright, Spinarak and Ariados. Where are these fellas going? When I was a kid, I liked Ariados just because I liked sharp, pointy, angry Pokemon, just because they looked as far away from girly and cute Pokemon as possible. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten, much more appreciative of the whole roster of Pokemon. I've actually gotten quite fond of cuter Pokemon. In the Pokedex, it says that it protects small Pokemon. Ledian? Yeah, I guess I'd believe that. It's an endearing quality, isn't it? One thing I didn't understand about Spinarak's design until watching the anime is that this design on its back is supposed to be a face. I never knew that. Even seeing it now, it still doesn't really look that much like a face. But apparently it's a face, and it's used to confuse attackers and maybe like birds from above that would try to normally attack a Spinarak. It just uses like a face on its back to intimidate them. So in the anime, they animate the face on Spinarak's back to like make little faces. I had no idea. It's pretty solid. I don't know. As far as like a spider goes, it's pretty cute. I like the little horn, and they do something with the horn. This really is kind of like a B.5. Like right in between A and B. Like an A-. For both of them, honestly. Like there's no real... I like the change in color, but like the patterns and stuff are the same. This is a really solid evolution as well. So they're going to go right beside each other. I just don't know whether to put them in A or B. I'm gonna put him in A for now. We'll see how many other Pokemon get put in A tier later. Like Crobat, for example, who I'm immediately putting in A tier. Where did I have Zubat and Golbat originally? I put them in B, didn't I? Yeah, Zubat and Golbat I put in B tier originally, but I love Crobat. I think they did a great job kind of bringing this Pokemon back and redeeming it. Crobat's fantastic. I love it. It's just one of the fastest Pokemon. I love that the eyes... I don't know, it's just I take Crobat more seriously now, and I like that. No real criticisms for Crobat. Makes sense. It's visually very easy to understand. And it's pretty iconic at this point, I think. Probably just because they put Zubat in literally every generation. Okay, Lantern and Chimecho. So do you guys know the animal that these two are based on? These funny little fish boys? Because I'm not sure I do. But I do know that there are undersea... I know that there are animals, like fish or something underwater, that have lights on them. I know there's anglerfish, but this is not designed off an anglerfish. But I know there's Pokemon that have little lights, kind of like anglerfish, that illuminate underwater. So they're obviously based off of something like that. Or maybe it's just conceptually based off of that idea. I do quite like Chimecho. Chimecho is quite adorable. That might be an A tier for me. I like the little flappy fins, but he still has legs. Lantern would end up going a tier down though, because first of all the legs disappear into a fin, I guess. Maybe that kind of makes sense, but Lantern's cute, but it's just kind of lumpy. Like I think this is the thing that's always put me off, is the lumpy design of it. It's kind of weird. Like if it was more streamlined, I think I'd like it more, or if it was more bulbous, since Lantern's very... Oh, Chinchou, not Chimecho. Yeah, duh, Chinchou. Chimecho's different. I'm thinking of Chingling and Chimecho. Chinchou and Chingling. Chinchou and Lantern. I don't know where the name Chinchou even comes from. I'm not sure I understand that at all. At least Lantern, duh, it lights up. I mean, it's kind of boring, actually, in that sense. But yeah, the eye design, again, it's just sort of another weird evolution where some things make sense and some things don't. I don't know why it's got little cross eyes, but I like that. But then that design is completely gone, and instead it gets like a Sonic-looking face mask. Just kind of weird looking. It's okay. Pichu. Pichu, although I love watching Pichu in the shorts, I don't think Pichu quite lives up to the legendary Pikachu. Pichu's cute, but I don't know. You can't put Pichu in the same tier as Pikachu. Pikachu's just, come on. But I think Pikachu works pretty well. I like that they even decided to do that, to add pre-evolutions. I mean, this is the generation that introduced baby Pokemon, so I guess that makes sense, where they wanted to make all these little babies, and Pichu would fall in that line. Chimecho is that Gen 4 little floating thing with a light on its head, I think. Is there a light? Chimecho's the, it's like a bell. It's a long bell. I think it's in this gen, isn't it? No, maybe it's a Gen 3 Pokemon. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Gen 4. I always thought it was introduced before Gen 4, but I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out soon enough, won't we? We'll be playing Ruby and Sapphire on the channel pretty soon. Gen 3. Okay. Well, we'll get there soon enough then. Anyways, I just don't know what else to say about Pichu. It's just there. It's good. Ooh. Lads. Clef is pretty adorable. And if you'll remember, I did put Clefairy in the S tier already for the Kanto chart. I think Clef is S tier as well. Clef was pretty darn cute. I don't know what to say. Look at the little arms, little face. If you don't like Cleffa, you don't like Cleffa, but you know, man. Clef is adorable. I love the star shape as well. Really playing into the idea of Cleffa being a Pokemon from space, right? I don't know, it's pretty good. Then we get Igglybuff as well. I don't know. I think Igglybuff can sit in A tier. I hated Igglybuff when I was a kid, but again, I just hated all the little cute little pink blob Pokemon. I was like, oh, duh, gross. But, Did Gen 2 have a Pikachu wannabe, or was that Gen 3? I think Meryl would be the Pikachu wannabe for this generation. Because, yeah, every generation's got like a Pikachu wannabe. I think this gen's Pikachu wannabe would be Meryl. It's kind of a mouse Pokemon. It's got the sharp tail. It's got the same general pattern, I guess. The face and stuff. I mean, it is the Pikachu face, so I'm going to go with Meryl on that one. Croconaw A, but for Alligator and B. Yeah, I don't know. Croconaw's design is establishing something, and then for Alligator abandons Croconaw's design and goes back to Totodile's. And also, I don't like the little claws. If I'm being honest. Who even likes Croconaw? I like Croconaw. I like Croconaw because as a middle evolution, I think it looks very good. Totodile's very kind of scampy. And Croconaw, he starts like bulking up, and I like that. Because Totodile's probably, you wouldn't look at Totodile and think he's a slow Pokemon. He's energetic, he's out there. But Croconaw, he starts bulking up a bit. And I like that. He's kind of building up to be very big and intimidating, but he's not there yet. It's there, and I really do like the design on his chest. Again, it reminds me of a caveman garb. But then, yeah, I don't know, for Alligator just abandons everything they were setting up and then just looks more like what you would assume the final evolution of Totodile looks like, but while ignoring the middle design. It's very strange. Okay, Togepi. I think Togepi's A tier. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I gotta be careful. I do really like all these cute little ball Pokemon. I can't just put them all on S tier. They all have to be ranked relative to each other. But I think Togepi's great. I really do love the idea of, oh, what's in the Pokemon egg? Oh, there it is. Oh, you're not out of the egg yet. What are you doing? And he's still just, where's the egg now? And then when it evolves, the pattern on the egg becomes the pattern on its body. It's so cool. Screw you, Togetic's S tier. Togetic's great. I'm gonna leave Togepi in A tier, but I love the evolution of this design of taking the Togepi pattern on the egg. That becomes the body. The legs are still there. The arms are still there. The face, the head shape develops a bit further, and it grows wings. I mean, that's everything you want for an evolution. It's just building on everything that's there. That's a perfect evolution, if I'm being honest with you. And I gotta you know, distinguish that in the ranking here. There's a lot of 3-stage lines where the middle stage is just kind of isn't in line with the first and third. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, and that's something I'm taking into consideration as well. I think that's a reason why a lot of people don't like middle evolutions for Pokemon. They become sort of a meme where they just kind of don't really fit. And Croconaw really might be the first one, because I don't think there was anyone in Gen 1 as far as 3 tiers that were like that. Oh, except maybe Gloom, because I did that with Gloom. Gloom just kind of sort of maybe set that trend initially, huh? With Oddish, this adorable little plant dude, and Vileplume. I mean, Oddish and Vileplume cohesively make perfect sense to each other, but then the middle design is just like, huh? It's a sappy, drooling, withered flower. I don't get it. How did your the petals look like it's dying? How is your flower dying? You didn't even bloom yet. You don't bloom until you get to the Vileplume stage. Maybe this is another mistake on Gen 1's part. Maybe Oddish was like designed to evolve into Vileplume, and Vileplume was designed to evolve into Bloom. I don't know, something weird like that. Who knows? No one will ever know. Okay, Natu and Xatu. Very interesting Pokemon. So these guys are based on the designs of like totem poles, I guess, like Native American culture. I really love the colors. I mean, I think they might be A tier for me. I think that's a very... I think already they were challenging themselves to make some very creative Pokemon designs just in the second generation, because there were already such like boring looking birds in the first gen. So when we got to Gen 2 already, they were like, well, we want more birds, but we gotta do something, you know? And I think it's, and this is another example as well of, like with Togepi and Togetic, of an evolution that just evolves really well. It's just all of these concepts that make Natu what it is are present in Xatu, and then they're built upon. It's very good. But I don't want to put Xatu in S tier or anything like that. But I think they're both A tier Pokemon. They're very good. I like the episode that had Natu and Xatu in the anime, where they were like predicting the weather, And then they were like panicking because they couldn't figure out what was going on. That was good. When will I play Pokemon Silver? Okay, at the end of the stream, I will talk about Pokemon a little bit more, the games and the future for the streams and my experience with Gold and Silver. I don't want to talk about it in the middle of the stream. I want to segment the stream a little bit. So at the end of the stream, I will talk more about that. As long as I don't forget. Uh-oh, here we go. Mareep and Flaffy. You guys know I love these ones. And Ampharos as well. Here's these three. Here's an example of a middle evolution. Here's an example of the final evolution being the odd one here. The odd one out, right? The middle evolution actually makes sense. I mean, I don't really know why it's pink, but that's okay. We're not completely unaccustomed to Pokemon just straight up changing colors when they evolve. That's fine. But yeah, Ampharos is kind of the odd one here. But again, it makes sense. The idea is it's losing its wool, like it's being sheared or something. So all of the bottom half has been sheared off when it evolves into Flaffy, and then the final evolution is completely barren now, and it's just nice and sleek and angry and fully developed. I think it's a great evolution line. But the colors, I won't lie, the colors have always bothered me. I don't know how it went from blue to pink to yellow. Like this is the only time I can even think of in a 3-stage Pokemon evolution where it changes color twice. That's quite drastic. I'm not really sure. I kind of like, yeah, I don't know. That does kind of put it off for me. But I mean, these are pretty A-tier Pokemon. I don't know. I almost want to bump Flaffy up to S-tier as well. But I'm going to stop myself because I need to be a little bit more careful with their S-tier. Very, very careful on who goes up there. But I think all in all, these are pretty A-tier Pokemon. Oh yeah, Ampharos was like one of the most important Pokemon in my team when I played. Because, and I mean the reason is because it was an actual good Pokemon. Right? Like I said, my team was not consisted of very like good Pokemon. They're Pokemon I liked, but let's be honest with you, like it's not really worth taking all the way to the Elite Four. I just did it because I wanted to. Got any jams to play with in the background? I mean, I'm playing the... Oh, is it too quiet? Can you not hear? I do have the Pokemon music playing in the background, but I can put on just actual music, I guess. That is a thing I can do. I don't know. I just thought this was more fitting. Besides, this is the last time you're going to hear this music, right? We're moving on to Gen 3 soon. Didn't hear the BGM? Yeah, I didn't even realize how quiet I must have had it. This should be fun. Okay. Oh, I know why it was so quiet too. It's because I've already dropped it by 12 decibels within the player, and then dropping it by an additional 20. Yeah, duh. Normally I'd drop it 20 from full, so you'd add 12 to compensate. I just forget sometimes. Okay, Bellossom. Well, again, this is another Pokemon that I really do like the design on its own, but we do have to consider the Pokemon it's evolved from, because this is... I mean, this is an example like Crobat, where again, we're evolving a Pokemon that existed in the previous gen. So, when we're looking at Vileplume, right here, and we consider the fact that Vileplume evolves into Bellossom, this is another one where there's just such a drastic change. No, Vileplume doesn't evolve, it evolves from Gloom, right. Oh right, we're taking this design. That's even weirder then. We're going from Gloom into Bellossom by, I think it's to the stone or something? Shiny stone, something like that. So we're taking this abysmal design, and we're somehow developing it into this. But I do think it's important to take Vileplume into consideration as well, because these designs would sort of, you know, complement each other as they are the two different forms for the same Pokemon. And yeah, there's really no similarities there other than the concept of a flower on top, which is, I mean, whoop-de-doo, it's a grass-type Pokemon. How groundbreaking. That's really not enough to distinguish it, I think. So if it loses its body color, it loses its body shape, it loses the type of flower, the drool is gone. I mean, it's an entirely different Pokemon. This thing's adorable. I don't know why this isn't just its own thing. How does this evolve from anything? I gotta dock it a point for that, at least. I don't want to put it in C tier, because this really is so... notably, this is much better than Gloom, but it also just doesn't make any sense, so we can't put it too high. I'm impressed we don't have any C tier Pokemon or lower yet. Everyone's in the, like, I like this Pokemon, at least somewhat, tier, right? Marill and Azumarill, oh man, and I like these two as well. I don't know what to tell you, look at these guys. They're not S tiers, but... I don't know, more good designs, really. It's crazy, though, to think that Azurill was introduced in a later gen. That's weird. They've always been like a complete line to me, because I started with Gen 4. You could get Azurill in the marsh in that one. Bellossom used to be blue in its official art. I mean, that'd make more sense. It's already green with the petal design. I don't know why they wouldn't keep it blue. Maybe they were just like, no, we need to make use of the color palette better on the Game Boy Color. Or maybe it was too complex for the Game Boy Color. I don't know how many colors they could have at a time, but having green maybe is like, well, there's already other greens, so it's easier. Maybe if there were too many colors, it was hard to do. It certainly couldn't translate it well on the original. Well, whatever, we'll talk more about that later. Anyways, Meryl and Azumarill, I think they're both A tier. I'm sorry that I'm not like putting anyone in the C or D tiers, but hey, I titled the stream the way I titled it for a reason. I think this generation's got some killer Pokemon. Am I wrong or what? These are some great Pokemons. Sudowoodo, I use Sudowoodo in my playthrough. I do like Sudowoodo conceptually, but I do think design-wise it is a little weak. For what's supposed to look like a tree, it doesn't look anything like a tree. I wish they played into it harder. I mean, it's supposed to look like I guess a bonsai tree, maybe? Let me just remind myself 100% what a bonsai tree looks like. I don't buy it. This thing needs way more leaves. Like, it's just not enough. That's always bothered me about Sudowoodo's design. I do like conceptually, again, what Sudowoodo is, but like, I just don't understand why it's got 3 little balls. You couldn't give this thing like just some more coloring or some kind of like, maybe it like picks up scrap it finds on the ground, like leaves and twigs and stuff. So yeah, it can't grow grass itself, being a rock type Pokemon, but maybe it could just like pick up and hold leaves and stuff. I mean, Burmie's a bagworm Pokemon, so they do that concept eventually, but I don't know. That always bothered me about Sudowoodo. We'll just leave him there. Why is he rock? That's what always bugged you? Well, I mean, they've got to pick... Obviously, he can't be a grass type, because the point is he's supposed to appear like a grass type Pokemon. So if you've got the trunk of a tree... I mean, you can't have a fire type Pokemon or a water type. Like, it just kind of makes sense that it could only be rock, but I could see ground as well, maybe, or even just normal type. I'm not really bothered by the type he's rock. The fact that he's a rock type Pokemon, though. He is kind of weird to be a bendy rock, though, huh? He's a wiggly rock. It's okay. I'm not gonna think too much about it. I like Sudowoodo for what it is. Uh-oh, Politoed. This is a weird one for me. Because again, I don't know what's happening. This is again, we're going back to Kanto to look at a Pokemon evolution. So Poliwag, little tadpole, evolves into Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl evolves into Poliwrath. But you can take Poliwhirl in the new gen and evolve it. No, wait, this is... What the heck is Politoed? Yeah, right, Politoed. Poliwhirl can evolve into Politoed. I don't understand how... Here's the thing, right? Tadpoles look nothing like frogs, and that's the design choice they went for here, right? Tadpoles evolve into frogs in real life, and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So why would the Pokemon evolution make sense? That's fine, I get that. But they're not evolving a tadpole into a toad with this. They're evolving a tadpole into this thing. And this thing is evolving into the toad. That's what makes no sense to me. If you could catch a Poliwag and evolve it directly into Politoed, I would have a lot more respect for this Pokemon's design. But right now, as it stands, and of course it's not like it's going to change anytime soon, this makes no sense. There is no through line here. This thing is clearly already set on its track to evolve into Poliwrath. I don't understand. Like, it seems too late for a course correction or for an evolution. I think I'm going to put Politoed in C tier. That really does upset me. I just don't understand it. Every single design choice is just completely abandoned. The eyes carry over, I guess. That's it. Yeah, it's got the same eyes. Okay. Hoppip, Skiploom, Jumpluff. Am I right? Hoppip, Skiploom, and Jumpluff. Maybe I've got those backwards. That might be Jumpluff and this is Skiploom. I'm not really sure. I don't use this Pokemon because I know that this Pokemon isn't a very good one. But I like it. I like Hoppip. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I don't know if you guys know what it's supposed to be. I think this is supposed to be like dandelion fluff, right? I mean, the idea is this Pokemon is very light, and so the wind picks it up and carries it away, right? That's the idea. So this is a very light Pokemon, and it's got like almost propellers on its head, these leaves sticking out, and then the flower on this thing spins, and now these dandelion heads sort of carry it. So I like that idea a lot. But I'm still not really sure why it doesn't just stick with dandelion for the whole way through. If the idea is it's supposed to be dandelions, right? It could have just been this. I don't know where these designs come from. And again, there's another evolution where it changes color twice. Why has it changed color twice? I don't know. It's a little confusing. I might just throw everyone in B tier. But I really do like Hoppip. Hoppip's adorable. I'm gonna put Hoppip in A tier. It's got little cat ears or something. Little tail going on. It does kind of look like a cat or something. But yeah, then it gets floppy ears and a flower, and I don't really love that. And then Jumpluff again to send it off. Dandelion leaves, dandelion flower, dandelion seed. Right, because dandelions do develop like that in real life too, don't they? Where they're yellow and then they... I could do something like this. I don't like Jumpluff enough to put him in the A tier though. Simple as that. I think this is fine. I'm okay with this. That's good. Okay, next up is Aplum. Little monkey boy. I guess there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's a pretty understandable design. You get it as soon as you look at it. I like the purple coloring. I like the big hand tail. It's really the only particularly defining feature of him, but I like it. The scrappy little up to no good monkey. He's good. I don't know what else to say. Like I said, it's a very simple design. I don't really have anything to comment on. It's just cute. Oh, what is this thing even called again? C-Dot? What is this thing? I don't even know what this thing's called. I don't even know what it's called. I don't get what it is either. So this is a sunflower seed, I think, maybe? Oh, Sunkern. That's it. Sunkern. Okay, let me look up a sunflower seed just to remind myself, because the pattern's familiar. I don't eat sunflower seeds, but I know other people do. Yeah, that's definitely what this is. This is a sunflower seed that evolves into a sunflower. Okay, I like that design. I like that design. Sunkern into Sunflora. Sunflora. I don't like Sunflora. Sunflora feels lazy. I don't know about you guys, but Sunflora seems lazy. I'm okay with the head shape, but then it's just like, they're just like, and then I don't know, just the bottom's all green, I guess, because it's like the rest of the plant. I don't know. It's got leaf arms. Sunflora is weak. Sunflora is weak. I do not dislike Sunkern. I don't think I want to put Sunkern in A though. We'll put Sunkern in B tier. And then it drops down a stage when it evolves. It's just lazy. I'm sorry. Okay, Yanma. Dragonfly Pokemon. I love that they had a Dragonfly. I like whenever they make new bug Pokemon, because there really are like an infinite amount of bugs to take designs from conceptually. We have so many weird and wacky bugs in our world. I don't even understand how we have so many weird looking bugs. There's no shortage of bugs to design Pokemon off of. So they tackled Dragonflies for this gen. I think it came out pretty good. That is a Dragonfly. Bugs are cool. Bugs are kind of cool. I don't like them when they're in my bedroom, but other than that, when I see bugs outside, I think they're very cool. I just don't like seeing them in my house. I don't like how I go to lie down in bed and there's a moth in my bedroom, or there's a spider on my wall. Something like that. I don't like feet flower. Yeah, no, I don't like foot flower. Thanks. I'm good. I don't like the sunflower with the feet. I'll pass. Also high period. Yeah, I like the aviator. I think that's what the design choice is here with the eyes. They look like they're like protection or something. Head protection. Also, the idea for Yanma that they came up with is that Yanma's wings flutters so fast that it creates like it uses the air speed from its wings to attack. I think that's cool. So for their first foray into a dragonfly design, I think they did a good job. Okay, Wooper. A lot of people put Wooper in S tier immediately. Wooper's like an actual fan favorite for people. People love Wooper. Wooper's S tier, baby. I didn't even know until like last year that what this thing's based off of. It's based off of Axolotl, whatever it's called. Axolotl. I don't know how to pronounce this thing. I don't even know what it is. It's a very strange animal. I don't know where this thing lives regionally. I've got no idea what this thing is, but I see the design choice and I understand it and it makes sense and it is cute. I'm not going to pop it in S tier, but Wooper's in A tier. I think that's pretty solid. There's really nothing to criticize Wooper on too much. Axolotl. Axolotl. Mexico in just a lake. Interesting. So it's a Mexican something or another. Salamander. But yeah, he's a cutie. And then of course we got Quagsire after that. That's quite a design shift, isn't it? From Wooper into Quagsire. But I think it works. I think, honestly, if they changed the color from Wooper into Quagsire, I think then it really wouldn't make sense though. Because there's not a whole lot, again, of design choices that are retained between these two Pokemon. It's still got a tail. It's still kind of blobby looking. I guess I do really like the face shape though. I like that. So Wooper's cute with small eyes and a small mouth. Quagsire has smaller eyes and a big mouth and it makes him look dumb. And I do kind of like that. I like Quagsire. I feel bad putting Quagsire in B tier. I just don't think that makes sense. But I really, again, this is just confusing. Like, where do these stripes go? Again, they're setting up like notable design elements to a Pokemon and then completely abandoning them for the evolution. These things on its head, I don't even know what they are, but they're gone. The design on its pattern is the pattern on its belly is gone. It somehow gets arms. I guess I'm not mad about that, but again, it's just another just one more thing that distinguishes it a little bit too much. And also, I see the purple here on the side of Quagsire. What is that? There's something on its back. Let me look up Quagsire pictures. Maybe I can get a picture of its back. Get some different angles of this thing. Give me a back shot, for goodness sakes. Yeah, so it's got some purple, wavy design coming off its back. It's like a little splotch of something, it almost looks like. Someone spilled something on it. It's just kind of weird. Again, like, if Quagsire was a design on its own, it'd be A tier, but as an evolution, I do think it just strays a little bit too far. Alright. Neotennis Amphibian. If you inject an axolotl with a specific hormone, you can force it to metamorphose into a full salamander? What? How does anyone know that? Who just grabbed an axolotl and like, alright, let's just inject it with something and see what happens? Who even found that out in the first place? But also, why did Pokemon look at that and they're like, yeah, we can turn that into a Pokemon? That's just such a weird and obscure thing. I don't know why anyone even knows what this animal is. If it's a weird salamander that only lives in Mexico, and then someone grabbed it and turned it into something else. I'm confused. Let me just look it up one more time. So it becomes like a full land-dwelling salamander. Very strange. I'm looking at pictures. I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't like it. Water animals make me uncomfortable sometimes. Anyways, I'm moving off the axolotl kick. Let's move on to Espeon and Umbreon, our new evolutions for the gen. I really like the idea of how to evolve these things. I like the idea of surprising the player, especially if we're just talking game design. I think it's super cool that you might have an Eevee in your party for a long time in the game, waiting to find an evolution stone so you can evolve it, and then just it evolves anyways all of a sudden, and you've got either an Espeon or an Umbreon based on the time of day that it evolved, and you don't even know that. You just find out that the other kid at school, same thing happened to him, but for some reason his Eevee evolved into a different Pokemon, and you're like, what? Neither of us did anything. Both of our Eevee evolved, and they somehow look totally different. I think that kind of thing's super cool, and it really aided to the mystique of early Pokemon games, right? It encouraged kids to get the games and play it for themselves and see how their adventure would play out. But anyways, if we're just looking at the design, again, we got to take the original Eevee into consideration. But I think they do, these are more evolutions that do a good job retaining what makes Eevee Eevee, and then just theming them around a type, not even an animal, but just taking the original design of Eevee and just saying, okay, well, what if Eevee was this type? Kind of, why'd they give all this down here for Espeon? What's going on there? That's a lot. You're doing a lot there. Anyways, I don't know. I always liked Umbreon a lot because of the design. The black and yellow I think looks really cool. And shiny Umbreon has black and blue, which is also super cool. But we won't take shiny colors into consideration. That's just opening a whole new rabbit hole. But neither Umbreon nor Espeon keep Eevee's mane. Yeah, I don't dislike that. I like the idea. I like that they're like really slick looking. Like I feel like that would really detract because everything else is intact. But as the evolution, they just kind of lose the mane, and they're very sleek. And they remind me of like Siamese cats in a way. At least Espeon does. I think they're good. I think they're both A tier. I don't want to put one higher than the other. I think they both are, again, really solid evolutions. And I said last time when I was doing this list, I said, you know, I am a sucker for the evolution thing. I like the evolution thing. I'm one of those guys. So yeah, I don't know. They're both A tier. They're both good. Again, pretty impressive gen so far. Look at what's happening. Like this generation is weighted very heavily for the top half of the tier list rather than the bottom half. Pretty good. Murkrow. Again, lots of birds out there to design Pokemon off of. So just like Natu, it's cool to see birds that just distinguish themselves and don't just look like bird. It looks like a Pokemon that's designed off a specific bird. So Murkrow being designed off a crow, I think it's good. But I've never liked the hat? Like it has a hat or something. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what they were going for there. I kind of like the tied tail thing they have going on. The general body shape and the overly large sized beak kind of reminds you of how crows are just loud and annoying and always cawing. So yeah, it would have a big beak. Murkrow likes shiny things. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I love Murkrow's weird witch hat and broom tail. Do you think that's what they were going for? It does look like a broom tail. I won't deny that. I definitely like the tail, but yeah, the hat's just a little weird. If they were going for a witch, you'd think they'd commit to that when they evolve this thing. We won't talk about Honchkrow yet because Honchkrow's not for a couple generations, but eventually we'll have to talk about Honchkrow. And if Murkrow's design is supposed to be based off a witch, then somebody has to explain to me what happened with Honchkrow. Because that design choice is completely abandoned, which makes me think that this was never supposed to be a witch. But again, maybe it's just that they abandoned that. I'm gonna drop Murkrow to B. I apologize, but until I feel comfortable with what this hat is, that really does set off the whole design for me. It's just strange looking. They don't draw a whole lot of attention to it though, which I like. Regional Murkrow evolution that becomes a Hot Crow Witch GF when? I chose the wrong chat message to read, that's for sure. Okay, Slowking. Oh, I do like me a Slowking. I do like me a Slowking. Let's take a quick look at Slowbro and Slowpoke, who are sitting probably in the... Where are we? Here's Slowpoke. So I talked about Slowbro in the original list, and I dropped it down to B tier because I just really don't like... First of all, the design of the thing on its tail. If it's supposed to be a Shelder, then why does it not look like a Shelder? If that's supposed to be a Shelder, tell me why that looks absolutely nothing like a Shelder. I guess that's it. That really is enough to drop it down to B tier for me. That just upsets me. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, we don't have to worry about that now. So now we've got Slowking. This is an alternative evolution for Slowpoke. So the idea is, and I didn't know this when I was a kid, but I came to understand this better over time. The idea is the Shelder that bites Slowpoke and evolves it into a Slowbro, instead of biting its tail, it bites its head and evolves into like a crown shape. So it's the same kind of thing as this, and when you compare Slowbro and Slowking right to each other, it does become more obvious. You can see the like kind of curled cone design of this thing present on the crown itself. Excuse me. It's very cool, and if you see Slowking from the back, you can still see the eyes of this character on the back. But again, this still looks nothing like a Shelder. I don't know where this came from. But I like the, like, I don't know, it just presents himself well. I like the idea of Slowpoke being an unintelligent Pokemon, but Slowking gains intelligence. He is now high IQ, becomes like a proper psychic type, like telepathic Pokemon. I feel like I should put Slowking in B tier, but I can't help it. Slowking's A tier. Yeah, I'm happy with that. When are they making the Biter a standalone Pokemon? I know! If they did that, I would be a lot happier with the Slowpoke design, or the Slowbro design and Slowking design. If they could just take this thing and design a Pokemon, like a stage 1 water-type Pokemon, that looks like that. That's just like a shell Pokemon. Not a Shelder, because Shelder is like a clamping shell. This is like a cone shell. If they designed a cone shell Pokemon that just looked like this, I'd be way more okay with the Slowbro design. And even more so with the Slowking design. That's all they gotta do. They've already established that they're okay with introducing Pokemon evolutions as like stage 1s. Right? Okay, Mischievous. Sort of paired with Murkrow, because these two are the generational exclusives, some of the generational exclusives in this generation, where Murkrow is only available in one game, Mischievous is in the other. I'm not sure if I understand, again, what Mischievous is designed off of specifically, because those beads really are outstanding. Just Google the wiki for Murkrow, and it is a broom and witch's hat. Really? Let me look up, here, let's circle back to Murkrow. Let me just look up some more pictures of Murkrow. Let me see how it's presented in different art, official pieces of art, in the anime and stuff. Yeah, they're pretty consistent with sticking to the hat shape. They never, like, they don't try to phase that out or anything. It is there. 27 interesting and fascinating facts about Murkrow from Pokemon on tonsofacts.com. I click on the link and it just says, your connection isn't private. Attackers might be trying to steal your information from tonsofacts.com. Okay, well, I don't care about the facts that much. It's okay. I'll just leave the facts where they are. Still, I'm not sold on Murkrow. Okay, Mischievous. I like Mischievous. I think we'll put Mischievous up to A tier. But again, not entirely sure what the bead thing is, but it does look good. I like it. Mischievous is a very ghost-looking Pokemon. Very haunting. Mischievous is what the name is supposed to be derived from. Mischievous. Wait, is mischievous already a word? It is, isn't it? Mischievous is a word. Wait, what's the difference between mischievous and mischievous? Why are those both words? They're not both words. What the heck is the difference? Mischievous. Causing mischief. Playing in an naughty or teasing way. Troublesome or irritating. Okay. How about mischievous? Is this not a word? Is mischievous not a word? Is that just a common mispronunciation of mischievous? British versus American English. Oh, okay. That would make sense then. Yeah, when you look at how mischievous is spelled, it literally, there's nothing about that spelling that would suggest mischievous. Mischievous doesn't even make sense when you look at the spelling. That should be pronounced mischievous. Yeah, different pronunciations of the same weird. That's that same word. That is weird. Okay, anyways, let's move on from Mischievous. Okay, we got the Unknown to talk about. Okay, the Unknown's a weird one because Unknown isn't one design. It's actually 28 different design Pokemon. And I'm not going to rank all 28 different designs of Unknown separately, but we can rank the concept of the Unknown and the general design principle that they all stick to, which is, of course, just based off of the Roman alphabet, as well as the question mark and exclamation mark. I don't know what to tell you. They're just kind of weird looking. They might even be C tier. I guess I don't hate the idea of them, but why the heck did they make 26 of them? They didn't have to do every letter. And they all just look so off. They look nothing like Pokemon. At least up to this point in the Pokemon design philosophy, Unknowns stick out the strongest. Like Unknown looks seriously nothing like Pokemon. I guess the eye still looks like a Pokemon eye, but that's it. Now, that being said, they aren't supposed to look too much like Pokemon because the point is they're like unusual alien Pokemon and no one knows where they come from or what they mean or what's going on. So, like in that sense, maybe, but I don't know, bro. I don't think I even put Unknown up in B tier. They're just strange looking Pokemon. That being said, there are definitely some Unknown designs that are much better than others, I think, if I'm being honest. F is not one of the better ones, though. And I'm like, they're not even good. Nobody even wants an Unknown anyways. The only point in catching an Unknown is for the sake of catching it. It's just... It's a strange Pokemon. I don't know how they came up with that design of turning high. Like, they already were getting way too creative with the Pokemon designs. And I said in the last generation, when I was ranking some of these, I was like, I really do appreciate how creative some of these designs are. Like Ditto. I love that they came up with Ditto in Gen 1. That's such a cool idea. Voltorb, very cool and creative. Porygon, very cool and creative. There has already been some pretty cool creative designs, but they were really going out there for hieroglyphic Pokemon. They might even look cooler if they were based off of, like, kanji or something. But, I don't know. Just weird looking. I killed the Elite Four with an Unknown-only team. Don't underestimate my love for the Unknowns. I mean, that is... I will appreciate how cool it is that they know Hidden Power, though. Hidden Power is a very cool move. And you actually can get away with a diverse team, but with one Pokemon, just because they all will specialize in a different type. But, I don't know, man. I feel bad putting it in B tier, because I'm looking at the other Pokemon in the B tier, and I like all of them more than Unknown. Unknown looks good besides Sunflora and Politoed. That looks about right for me. Oh no, it's Wobbuffet. I like Wobbuffet way too much. I think Wobbuffet's S tier. I like Wobbuffet way too much. Way more than most people, I'm sure. I don't think people like Wobbuffet that much, but I love Wobbuffet. I gotta talk about Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet's so darn cool. So the idea with Wobbuffet is it's a very difficult Pokemon to use in-game because it never attacks first. Wobbuffet only attacks once provoked. So its only moves are like Counter and Mirror Coat, and moves that are supposed to reflect damage based on the amount of damage that was taken in the first place. That's such a darn cool design for a Pokemon because it is designed to be a punching bag. The punching bag doesn't attack you. The punching bag is attacked and then it bounces back and attacks you. That's the design of Wobbuffet. And the best part is that Wobbuffet isn't even this thing. This is Wobbuffet, is the tail with the little eyes. That's the Pokemon. Right there. And it uses the punching bag to deflect attacks and protect itself. It's such a freaking cool design. I love Wobbuffet. What you doing to your Lantern Boy? B tier? Okay. If you missed the Lantern ranking, I'll re-explain. I like Chinchou a lot. I don't completely understand where the Chinchou and Lantern designs came from. But I like them. But here's the thing, right? Look at Chinchou and then look at Lantern. Like, right beside each other. Of course, I can't put them beside each other because... whatever. Anyways, look at the designs. There's very distinct elements in Chinchou, like these cross eyes are abandoned. And the, like, ball shape. And yet it turns into, like, a sort of bulbous... Like, it looks pregnant. Why does it look pregnant? The legs turn into a tail. The light design changes into like a stem for some reason. It gets like Sonic eyes. I don't hate Lantern's design on its own or anything. But it's very strange as an evolution of Chinchou. Anglerfish. What's anglerfish? Let me look up anglerfish. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, where I was like, I think it might be designed off an anglerfish. But how? Look at it. I want you guys to look up pictures of anglerfish and then look at lantern, and you tell me where the through line is, other than the lamp shape hanging off the front of the head. Which, by the way, if this is based off an anglerfish, then why is Chinchou not based off an anglerfish? Chinchou is just some weird little like water droplet with like fins, and I like him, but Chinchou certainly isn't based off an anglerfish. So why is lantern based off an anglerfish? I apologize. Maybe I just need to see more pictures of lantern. Maybe this is just a particularly unflattering picture. Let me look up lantern. What else do we have? Oh no, I found some really bad DeviantArt with lantern already. I didn't even have to dig for that one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It looks pretty consistent. That's the design of the thing. There is this pretty good card though. I might as well just bring the tab over. I don't want to be doing these searches on stream because who knows what's going to happen when I search, right? But I like this particular angle for lantern. This looks good. I like this. Where's the DeviantArt pic? Oh, you know what? It wasn't even a bad one. It was just this one. I was just looking at this and I was like, that is the derpiest looking lantern I've ever seen. I don't want to put XCX Ninui XCX out too badly. But for some reason, Brave, when I search lantern, these are like the first results, and I don't know why. Front-facing lantern is coming to haunt your nightmares. Anyways, back to business. Good gravy. Was expecting hyper fat for it? Dude, come on. What? There's a reason I like Brave, okay? I say that, but don't forget, when I searched Tadpole last time I did this tier list. Hoot Hoot and A tier, yeah? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Snuggly Hedgehog. Hey! Hey, Snuggly Hedgehog, who even are you? Look at Hoot Hoot. You tell me what's wrong with Hoot Hoot from a design perspective. It's just a cute little owl. I love the idea of it standing on one leg all the time. He's very attentive. He's alert. He's just a good little boy. Okay? Let's move on to Girafarig. No. You're not telling me anything. We're moving on to Girafarig, okay? Girafarig. So this is the only giraffe Pokemon, I think. I don't think they ever tackled the idea of a giraffe Pokemon again. As far as I know, this is still the only one. But here's Girafarig. So Girafarig's very interesting. I like this, like, again, this is them getting very creative with the designs, where there's the front of the Pokemon is one thing, and then the back of the Pokemon is another, so its tail is a head on its own. It's very strange looking, but very creative, and I appreciate the creativity a lot. I'm not 100% sold on the execution, though. I think it's a little clunky looking. I don't like the pink complementing the yellow and black. It doesn't look great. And somehow, the craziest thing is, this thing's not even a dark type. Or no, a psychic type? What is this thing again? I'm just saying, this thing looks to me like a psychic and dark type. Like the two halves each represent a different type. To me, this should be a psychic and dark type. But for some reason, it's not. For some reason, this is a normal and dark type. Psychic type? I can't remember if this thing's normal and psychic or normal and dark, but either way, it's only one of the typings. I don't know. I just think, although I really like the design for Girafarig, I think they need to develop it a little bit better. And one other thing that I forgot to mention, it's not even tall. How are they going to make a giraffe Pokemon that's not even that tall? Its neck is as long as, I don't know, Ampharos. I mean, Meganium's got a longer neck, for goodness sakes. Well, how is this supposed to be the giraffe Pokemon? Where's the neck? That's like the one defining thing about giraffes. If they wanted to introduce an evolution for Girafarig, I'd be super down for it. That's all I'm saying. If they wanted to introduce an evolution in a later gen to develop on Girafarig's design a little bit better, and make it giant. I mean, that'd be so cool. I'd be so down with that. That might even go all the way up to S tier, depending on how well they do it. Because they've got a really cool idea here. And the palindrome name is really good, with Girafarig being spelled the same forwards and backwards, because it plays into the design. So there's things there. There's definitely something here. It just needs some more work. That's all I'll say. Pineco. I can't believe they looked at a pine cone one day and they were like, oh, we should make a Pokemon out of that. That is a weird one, if I'm being honest. But if you were supposed to design a Pokemon off of a pine cone, I mean, what could you do any better? That's basically it. That's a pine cone Pokemon. You can't really do much better than that. There's really no room to improve on this and make it an S tier. It kind of caps off at A tier, but yeah, no, it's a good concept and good character. I agree. It's Pineco. There it is. But then somehow, again, this is one of these situations where we've got one Pokemon evolving into an entirely different species. Where's the through line? What is this? What is happening with this thing? How? Where? Like, where? There's not one thing from Pineco that is carried over to Fortress. They are entirely different Pokemon. That infuriates me. I'm sick of them doing that. I don't even think Pineco's based off of anything. Or not Pineco. Fortress. Fortress isn't even designed off of anything. What is this crap? Fortress goes down to C tier. You lose a lot of points for that. I'm sorry. I don't understand what this is. It's not an ugly design. Especially, I'm glad that it's a steel type. If this wasn't a steel type, I'd probably drop it down to D. At least it's a steel type. I don't understand. It's literally a bad clam. You know, it's not even though, because a clam would have a joint in the back, right? So it clamps down. This thing doesn't have a joint in the back. Fortress is like two shells, but the red part sticks out all the way around. So it's just kind of weird, like two halves. It almost looks like a meteor, maybe? And then something's inside the meteor? I don't know what this is. That's why it's a bad clam. Yeah, I guess so. It's, I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't hate the design on its own, but again, just evolving from Pineco, it makes no gosh darn sense. If Dunsparce is an S tier, I'm rioting. Dunsparce is an S tier. I apologize. But that being said, before I even touch this thing, do you guys know what this thing's based off of? Because I have no idea. Please tell me Dunsparce is based off of a real animal and I'm just unfamiliar with it. Because if this was bred purely out of creativity, it's such an ugly looking thing. What is this? Ground bee? That's not a thing. Tsuchinoko? I can't even tell if you guys are just saying things or if you're being serious. I'm not buying ground bee. Let me move the lantern tab over again and start looking things up. Wow, ground bee is a thing. Look at that. What the heck? Ground bee is adorable. Look at the ground bee. How are ground bees a thing? That's amazing. What did they do? And how come every image that I find is tied to an article about how to get rid of them? Why would you want to get rid of ground bee? Look at him. Okay. And okay, I gotta type this out manually, don't I? Because I can't copy paste from Streamlabs. Tsuchinoko? Tsuchinoko. What the heck? Okay, wait, we can't see? I don't want you to see. Because I don't know what's gonna come up on Brave Images. I don't want pornography to just show up all of a sudden while I'm trying to browse various animal designs. Okay, I'll do a quick... Okay, so I can just do a quick look and verify. Here we go. You didn't get to see ground bee? That is true. Here's ground bee. Look at ground bee. Look at little ground bee. I like ground bee. Ground bee looks like a fine gentleman. Right? Oh, there's another one down there. It sure do be in the ground. That do be a ground bee. That looks pretty good to me. Sorry, what is the other one again? That's a quality username, actually. What, ground bee? Yeah, that's pretty good. That'd be just a name for a Pokemon, honestly. That sounds like a Pokemon name. Okay, Tsuchinoko. Tsuchikage? No. What is it? Tsuchinoko. Real. Tsuchinoko real. Okay. Here's this thing. What is this? It's a fat snake. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Is the legendary Tsuchinoko real? I don't know, is it? What is this? Is that really it? Just a phallic snake. Can't be real. What is this? Tsuchinoko real. Know your meme. What do you got for me, KYM? Tsuchinoko real is a catchphrase originating from Tumblr in which people joke about the titular phrase after it was used in a popular Tumblr post. An inspired post in which people post pictures of animals resembling the mythical Japanese creature with the phrase Tsuchinoko real. And there's Dunsparce. A particularly popular offshoot of the meme involved posting pictures of a Pokemon Dunsparce with the phrase Dunsparce real. Okay, well, there we go. We learned our meme history today. Tsuchinoko real. MLP page? Yeah, what about it? Top entries this week. Tub Girl, great. And My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. How? How is My Little Pony trending this week on Know Your Meme? What happened? What have I missed? We're getting sidetracked again, for goodness sakes. Can I get back to my tier list? So, Dunsparce sucks. If it's supposed to be based off a fat snake, it looks literally nothing like it. At least not based off of the pictures that I was just given. In fact, I'm gonna drop it to D for Dunsparce. Because if that's true, if Dunsparce is supposed to be based off of Tsuchinoko, it's even worse than I thought. Because it looks literally nothing like that. I don't understand it. Is it a ground bee? Because if it's a ground bee, it also doesn't work as a ground bee. Because ground bees are cute, and Dunsparce isn't. Okay? Dunsparce looks nothing like a bee. If Dunsparce is supposed to be a bee, then how have I gone, like, I don't know, 13 years without even seeing the bee design in this thing? Dunsparce fails as a design. The yellow and blue don't even look good together. It's like a pale yellow as well. Maybe if it was like a more golden yellow, but what is this pale yellow? Nah. Nope. Dunsparce is D. You're not changing my mind. I'm sorry. I don't understand it. Okay, Gligar time. Look at this little dude. Man, I do like Gligar. He's got a lot of spunk, doesn't he? I do like Gligar. He looks like he's ready to be a Pokemon. I don't like his little spike feet, I guess, but I think it's pretty good. I like his color. Because he's not pink. He's like he's kind of got a purple tone to him. Gligar C? I don't know. He's pretty cute. I like his little tongue. He's very angry. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to look up just a couple more pictures of Gligar, though. Because he does have a rather complex design. I'm worried that he might have some other angles to him. That are going to make him less appealing if you take a look. I like that his legs are attached to his wings. I think that's cool. Like, it's all just kind of one piece. Very webbed. No, Gligar's good. I like Gligar a lot. Gligar's a little cutie. I like Gligar. Reminds you of a centipede, but lacks legs. What are you talking? What? How? Huh? Do you not know what a centipede is? This thing looks nothing like a centipede. Steelix looks closer to a centipede than Gligar. I don't know what you're talking about. Evolves into one of your favorite Pokemon, but that's not until Gen 4. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait a while to get to Gliscor. How does Jigglypuff hit A, but Gligar hits A2? Because they're both great little Pokemon. What do you want me to say? Anyways, Steelix, pretty darn cool. Onix, I gave an A tier in the first list, and I think the natural evolution to evolve a rock Pokemon is to evolve it into a steel Pokemon as an introduction to the new steel typing of the generation. I think it's super cool. It boosts up its defense even harder, and it just, yeah, firms up. It looks even angrier. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Yeah, not great in battle. Onix and Steelix really aren't that great to use, but I like the design. I do wish they had better offense in just some way. One thing I like especially is the giant spike on Onix's head. Kind of runs down its back and develops into spikes along its body. I think that's super cool. Should have been Dragon Rock. Well, here's the thing. They can always open themselves to a third evolution with this one. We could evolve Steelix into a flying dragon, couldn't we? Like a flying snake dragon? Like a steel dragon type or something? That'd be really interesting. Oh no, Snubble. Oh gosh. What is this thing? For goodness sakes. So, I understand the origins for Snubble. I understand what this is. This is a... Oh, who's calling me? This might be important. Hang on, I gotta take a phone call. No, of course it's not important, because why would anyone phone me? Why is it that when I send my application to like 20 different places to work, and I'm expecting a phone call, anytime I actually do get a phone call, it's always from a number that hangs up immediately. Anyways, we got Snubble and Gramble coming up. So Snubble's designed off of like a bulldog, right? And bulldogs are typically looked at as very kind of grumpy and aggressive little dogs. But for some reason there is this fascination, and especially in Japan, with turning ugly things into cute things. They even have a word for it. I just can't remember what it's called, but to describe something that's both cute and ugly, there is a particular fascination with that in Japan. And Snubble plays into that. The idea of a little grumpy, ugly little bulldog Pokemon that's then been kind of dolled up to be someone's... to be some, like, pet, like, feminine-looking thing. It's an interesting concept, but I just don't understand why you would take that concept and make a Pokemon out of it, because it just doesn't look good. And the fascination with cute ugly, I don't think is translated well here at all. It's just ugly. I'm gonna say C tier. I'm keeping it out of D tier because I like the creativity, but I don't know about I don't know. It's just not great. It's also got a terrible voice in the anime. It goes, Snubble, Snubble. Terrible. Granbull, on the other hand, kind of like saves it a little bit. I like a lot of these ugly blues spots are lost. The feet become the same color. I think the design in general becomes a lot more streamlined. It almost starts to look more like a Kanto Pokemon. Once it evolves. Busakawa, is that the name for cute ugly? That might be it. Like I said, I know there's a name dedicated specifically to that. Okay, so Granbull, I'm gonna put B tier. It's not like Granbull's gonna rocket up to A tier or anything, but yeah, I think you kind of do a little bit to bring back the bulldog design a little bit here, and it looks less cute, and that's good because it evolved, so it should look less cute. So I'm down with B tier for Granbull. Okay, Quillfish. Kind of just an ugly looking thing. I don't know. Kind of the same deal as Snubble. I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of ugly looking. I like the idea of a pufferfish Pokemon, of course, but I don't know. Just a little weak. Strange eye shape. That might be all it is. Maybe if it just had different eyes, I'd put it a little bit higher, but also it is just kind of boring, isn't it? It really is just like a pufferfish. Boring design, I got nothing else to say. Skizor! This dude's pretty darn cool. Where did I put Scyther in the original ranking? Was he A tier? Yeah, here's Scyther in A tier. So Scyther, this is actually, if I'll be honest with you guys, this is actually one of my favorite, like, conceptual evolutions, mechanically speaking, because Scyther, although it does evolve into Skizor, Skizor isn't necessarily better than Scyther. Scyther can be left on its own, and it's literally just as strong as Skizor. These are like different Pokemon. This isn't necessarily Scyther getting better, it's just changing. So you can choose to never evolve a Scyther, and it could like reasonably be just as good as a Skizor. Because they've got like comparative base stats, they both have different move pools that are still really good. Just talking about the games themselves as you're playing the games, I think that's really cool. But if we're just talking about design-wise, Scyther evolving into Skizor, I do think it is also really solid. It's notably the same Pokemon. The 3 spikes on its head are there and kind of more defined now. I like the color change. I like the typing change. I like that it gets the steel typing. It kind of just looks like sleeker and more like competent attack. Scyther looks more like one that just kind of lashes out. It doesn't have like a very focused and intelligent attacking style. Skizor looks more like that. I think Skizor's A tier. I think Scyther and Safari in yellow. Yeah, I've heard I've heard tell of how horrendous it is trying to catch safari Pokemon in red, blue, and yellow. I already didn't like the Great Marsh and Sinnoh, so if the safari in red and blue and yellow is even worse, then screw that. Shuckle. Ooh, brother. Yeah, Shuckle's a weird one, man. Oh my gosh. Where did they come up with Shuckle from? So Shuckle is a turtle, obviously, but not really, because it's kind of just a goopy little snake, and it hides in its shell completely, and apparently you can get, it like stirs up liquid inside of its body that has healing properties. Like, again, this is just such an unusual and specific design. I'm certain this must be based off of something, and I just don't know what it is. Shuckle's a barnacle? I mean, maybe, but that still doesn't explain the potion nonsense. Unless barnacles have some kind of healing properties that I'm unaware of. Barnacles. Man, these things look weird. If you got, like, trypophobia, don't look up barnacle on Google Images. These things would definitely, like, bother people with the trypophobia thing. I don't think this is designed to be a barnacle. We already have a barnacle Pokemon at some point, I think. I seem to remember a barnacle Pokemon. I don't think that's supposed to be barnacle. I don't buy it. Anyways, I don't get it. Unless someone wants to explain Shuckle to me, Shuckle's a C tier. I don't get it. Also, it's kind of a meme Oh, good grief. It's kind of a meme Pokemon in the game as well, because it's just defense. Like, nothing else. This thing is just defense. No offense. And it's got, I think, the highest base defense in the world. Like, of all the Pokemon. Something like that. Barnacle? I don't think it's a barnacle, you guys. Look at pictures of barnacles and look at Shuckle. You tell me those are the same thing. I don't buy it. And again, if it truly is, like they say, yeah, this is a barnacle, well then it's C tier because it fails to be a barnacle. It doesn't look anything like one. The design doesn't translate properly at all. Okay, Heracross. I don't actually like Heracross that much. Even though I used Heracross in my Pokemon Gold run, I don't really like Heracross. It's kind of a weird looking design, isn't he? He almost looks kind of scary. I might have to look up stag beetles just to remind myself. How close does this look to a stag beetle? Is that doesn't really look that close. Is this supposed to be a Pinsir is supposed to be a stag beetle. Is this not a stag beetle as well? What is this thing based off of then? Pinsir is a stag beetle. What the heck is Heracross? A horn beetle? Is that a thing? Oh yeah, that's it. It's a horn beetle. Rhinoceros beetle. Okay. I mean, when I look at a rhino beetle, all I can think about is the guy from Bug's Life. I'm not seeing Heracross, if I'm being honest with you. But from certain angles, obviously, yes, I see it. That's a pretty... This is a much closer design, I think, to what Heracross is supposed to be, right? With this horn sticking out the front there. That looks a bit closer. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess they did a good job making a rhino battle, but beetle. Rhino beetle. They did a good job making a rhino beetle, but I don't know, I still don't really like him. It's just kind of upsetting to look at. I don't like how intense his eyes look. I don't like... Like, it almost looks like fur on his arms, and I mean, I get it. I know, like, beetles do have weird-looking limbs like that, so I get it. I can't even really blame them too much for it, but that doesn't change the fact I don't really like Heracross. Just looking at him. Just a confusing design, but again, that's not even Heracross's fault. That's the rhino beetle's fault. The rhino beetle is a confusing design. I don't know how we got this thing. So I'll pass on Heracross. Sorry. If I'm being unfair, go make your own tier list. I just don't like him. Sneasel. What about Sneasel's design? It's kind of interesting. I like it, but it does raise questions because this is very unique. The single red ear. I think Sneasel's got a lot of room to grow. I don't want to put Sneasel in A tier. Maybe I do though. I'm just looking at Sneasel against the other B tier Pokemon that I've placed. It feels like a low A, but maybe still an A. Maybe I can just look this one up, actually. I'm particularly interested in the Sneasel design, because I really do feel like this is another one that's supposed to be very specific. Because it's an Ice-type Pokemon as well. Ice-type with one big ear. A Kamaitachi? Dude, you gotta be kidding me. More like weird Japanese mythological stuff that no one's gonna know about. Kamaitachi. Okay, that's the name of Weavile, apparently. In Japanese, so that doesn't make this any easier. A Japanese yokai, often told about in the Koshin-etsu region, and also referred to the strange events that this creature causes. Okay. They appear riding on dust devils. What are these design influences? Dude, nobody knows what this is. It's not over here. Why does Japan have all these obscure stories about, like, demons of old? And over in North America, we have stories of... I don't know. Food, maybe? We don't have any interesting anything. How come America has no culture? It's terrible. I hate it. There's no culture to America other than food and industry. Well, I'm seeing the design parallels between the various interpretations of what a Kaimachi supposedly looks like, because of course it's not even a real thing. So everyone designs Kaimachi to look just slightly different from each other. But I'm seeing how Sneasel could also fall into this design parallel, so that's fair. I'll leave it an A then. I was gonna say, if I can't find anything on Sneasel's design, then I might actually drop it, but I'll leave it. We'll leave it an A. Because Pokemon... Yeah, no, I get it. I get that Pokemon designs are based off of Japanese yokai and stuff, but I'm just saying, I don't... Like, as an international franchise, these designs come off as incredibly confusing. Like, it's very... Like, at a certain point, we're getting to very obscure folklore that Pokemon are getting based off of, and it's getting harder and harder to translate these designs well overseas, because, yeah, I'm just confused. USA killed most of their native folklore, and they didn't maintain their European roots, so... Yeah, no, it's definitely not great, or roots. We don't want to talk about all that, though. Dark history. Florida skunk ape? What the heck is that? What is a Florida skunk ape? Bro, I swear, if they do ever make a Pokemon region based in America, they have to make a Bigfoot Pokemon. They've got no choice. What the heck is this? Just a smelly... just an alternative Bigfoot. So stupid, bro. They're gonna have to make the legendary Pokemon a Bigfoot Pokemon if they make an American region. All the Pokemon designs are gonna be like based off of foods, like fast food. There's gonna be like a hot dog Pokemon and a hamburger Pokemon. There's gonna be a Bigfoot Pokemon. Okay. I'm getting so distracted. I'm enjoying this, but I really do want to get through this. This was not supposed to be a very long live stream, and somehow we've already almost hit 2 hours. I don't know how. Teddy Ursa! It's a bear! I don't know what you want me to say. It's cute. A tier. Ursa ring. I just, again, pretty solid. Sort of develops on the concept a little bit. But again, what? I don't understand. There's definitely something happening here with this design, and I just have missed it. This has to be something. Like a sun bear or a day bear or something. Ursa is derived from the word bear, I think, in some language or something. So that makes sense. And obviously teddy bear. But where does ring come from? This has to be something. This design has to be something. Because the Teddy Ursa also has like a little moon design on his forehead. So there's something with a ring shape that's consistent here, and it's... Again, I've just missed it. Lunar bear? Is the Ursa Major constellation, does that have anything to do with, like, thematically with maybe the moon or the night or something? Based on a moon bear. I'm glad you guys for some reason know this. But I'm looking at moon bear and I'm not really seeing the ring design again. I guess maybe it is just Ursa Minor and Ursa Major. But that still doesn't really explain the ring. But at least the moon makes sense, I guess. The crescent moon across the chest. It's such a stretch, man. I guess this is an Asian bear, though. The Asian black bear, so... That'd explain why I've never seen it. I could tell you all about grizzlies. Hey, we got lots of grizzlies up here in the Great North. Seen plenty of grizzlies, but I've never seen an Asian black bear. But I guess that'd make sense. Crescent moon. Oh, and full moon. That would make sense. Crescent moon and full moon. That could be it. You know, it's kind of cool critically thinking about these Pokemon designs that I just haven't really thought that much about growing up. That makes a lot of sense, if that's true. I'll buy it for now. Anyways, regardless, I think they're both A tier. I think I like that we have a bear Pokemon like that isn't like trying too hard. It's just a bear. It's cool. And I like that it evolves from a cute little teddy bear as well, right? Into an intimidating mother bear. So that makes sense. Even if you want to ignore everything else, I just think it's pretty solid already. Just a bear. Yeah, like if it didn't have the ring or anything, I'd probably drop it down to B tier, but at least there is something going on here, right? Conceptually, to stick it out. Meanwhile, you look at Noctowl, I'm like, yep, that's an owl, I guess. You know, that's a ladybug. Okay, Slugma. And I think it's Magcargo, or is that a different Pokemon? I'm actually just gonna have to look this one up. Magcargo? Do I have it? Yep, that's it. Slugma and Magcargo. I guess it's a slug and a snail. That makes a lot of sense. It just grows the shell somehow. I'm not being sarcastic. I think it's fine. But I guess that could also be sarcastic. I don't know where the shell comes from, but I'm okay with it. Because the body of a slug and the body of a snail are just so similar anyways. So that doesn't bother me at all. That being said, I think Slugma's pretty weak. Magcargo is a lot more defined. I like this design a lot better. It sticks out. It's interesting. It's a snail, a fire snail. I think it's very interesting. But, regular Slugma is just kind of weak. I think that's fine. I don't need to say anything more on that. Okay, and then we got, these two. Swinub and Piloswine. I'm not sure. Were these always supposed to be based off of, like, mammoths? Because, again, this feels weird because I've always known this as a three-piece evolution line where it ends with Mamoswine, and Mamoswine is obviously a big woolly mammoth. But that was introduced a couple generations later. So I don't understand where these two designs came from if they were never really intended to make it all the way to mammoth anyways. That just makes this more confusing. They're pigs, yes, they are pigs. I see the pig snouts, but they're ice pigs and they're very furry. And that confuses me. So yet again, I feel like this is a specific design choice that I'm just missing. And I'm getting kind of tired of that. Why is that half of the stream? Is me just not understanding a design choice? I don't even like regardless, I think probably they're going to be sitting in B tier. They're just strangely fuzzy. I guess Swinub's kind of cute, but I still would probably put Swinub in A tier. Piloswine's definitely B tier for me. Just leave it at that, I guess. Because even if I did understand these Pokemon, it's not going to change the fact they're B tier. Corsola, I mean, this makes sense. This is just coral. But I don't know why they did that. Why did they look at coral and they're like, yeah, it's a Pokemon? I don't think it works that well, to be honest with you. I think the thing is, sea coral. I think one of the greatest appeals of sea coral is the sheer variety in it and the colors and stuff. So if they wanted to make a Corsola, like maybe Corsola could be something where, depending on where you catch it in the region, it looks different, kind of like Shellos. They could have 3 or 4 different Corsola. They're all different colors and look slightly different. That would save Corsola for me. But the fact that Corsola is just this, I feel like they're kind of like missing what makes coral such an impressive and interesting facet of the sea. He's weird. Kind of cute, but I don't know. They just could have done a lot more with that. It's just kind of a missed opportunity. Again, maybe we'll get something expanding on Corsola's design in another game or something, but as it stands, maybe just B tier for Corsola. Okay, let's talk about this little dude here. Remoraid and Octillery. This is by far one of the most confusing design choices and evolutions in Pokemon for me. Like, out of all of them. Yeah, Brain Coral, Fire Coral, there's so many different kinds of cool kinds of coral. Like, whatever. Anyways, so I don't know if you guys understand this. I've tried to look into it myself just in the past because it's just so confusing. This might be the worst possible example I've seen in Pokemon of one animal evolving into an entirely different one. How did we get from some weird little fish thing into an octopus? Like, it just doesn't make any blasted sense. But I've looked into it, and I guess people are saying that they're supposed to be like weapons. Like, this is like a precise sniper weapon, and this is more of like a cannon kind of deal. So you've got Octillery, derived from the word artillery. I don't know what Remoraid is supposed to be derived from. I love Octillery. Octillery's great. Octillery I would have no problem putting in A tier. But I just don't get it. I do not understand what's happening here. It upsets me a lot. Do you guys know what Remoraid's based off of? Like, is there a fish that Remoraid's based off of that would, like, kind of help this make sense at all? Because as it stands, I don't like Remoraid that much to begin with, and then it evolves into an entirely different Pokemon. And so that upsets me. Oh, interesting. Just doing a really quick search. It looks like this is another Pokemon that had its design changed. It originally looked different and helped it transition. Like, the concept made a lot more sense originally. Interesting. Remoraid used to look like a pistol, but they changed the design. Oh, that's fascinating. So this was supposed to be a revolver evolving into a tank, but because they removed the weaponry, now it's just random Pokemon garbage. Nope, I don't like them. Remoraid's B tier and Octillery's D tier. I love Octillery, design-wise, but I can't deny how stupid that is. By removing the design choice that defines what these Pokemon are, they've completely ruined the Pokemon. To just a confusing degree now. Octillery's sitting in D tier, Remoraid's in B tier. Sorry. It's too bad, because I like Octillery's design a lot, but can't ignore that. Also, Delibird's D tier. I'm not even talking about Delibird. I don't know where they came up with this thing from. I'm not making an F tier or anything. I don't think a Pokemon needs to be lower than D tier. I don't think there's any Pokemon that are genuinely terrible and I would want to put an F tier. I don't even want to talk about Delibird. What is this? This is just stupid. I feel good putting Delibird beside Dunsparce. That makes sense to me. Putting Santa in D tier. How dare you? Isn't the Remora the fishes that grab to the sharks? Maybe. Let me look it up. Remora. Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense for the name. Yeah. I remember these things. Because I used to like sharks when I was a kid, so I looked up lots of information on them. Okay, that makes sense. Well, Remoraid's design then makes slightly more sense. I don't really like Remoraid though, it's just kind of a boring design. Funny enough, you need Remoraid to get a Mantine, don't you? Like Remoraid... Yeah, you can see it. You can even see it in Mantine's design if you look very closely. Right? So they do use that concept with Remoraid. So Remoraid leeches onto a Mantine, or a Mantike, to evolve into a Mantine. They don't introduce that concept until way later, but they do that. That being said, Mantine I think is fine for a Manta Ray design. I'm just going to leave him in B. Nothing exceptional about it. I don't want to push it up to A tier or anything. I think Mantine's just fine in B tier. This is one of the tier lists of all time. I agree. I think this really might be one of the tier lists that I've made, at least. Skarmory, another confusing design. No, Skarmory C tier. I don't like this thing. It's like bulbous, but also sharp and angly, and it's got a weird disjointed head shape and an ugly looking tail, and it doesn't even have claws, it only has wings, so it doesn't have anything. Just a weird, confusing one. It's not D tier, but Skarmory C. For what's supposed to be a cool Pokemon, it does not look cool. It looks incredibly derpy. I don't have any further comment on Skarmory. I'm sorry. Houndoom and Houndour. Now we got a couple of cuties. Look at these two. Look at these two. A couple of cuties. So these are supposed to be... Houndoom, at least, is supposed to be based off of like a Hellhound. I think it's pretty cool. It's almost like too violent, though. I've always thought... I'm going to put Houndour up there, at least. Houndoom is almost like too much, you know? He's kind of over the top with the design. Like, I feel like they could have reserved a bit better, but like, he's got the horns, he's got the devil tail, he's all black, he's just angry looking. I think it's almost like a bit too much. I wish it was just a bit more subtle. It's a very violent looking Pokemon, a bit too much. Too edgy. White girl's favorite Pokemon? You just know. You just know. Okay, Kingdra. We gotta go back to Kanto again, because this is another situation where we're evolving a previous Pokemon. So we've got Horsey, very cute, evolves into Seadra, pretty solid evolution, and then evolves into Kingdra. I'll be honest, I think that's a pretty solid third evolution. I don't know what else to say. I think Kingdra can sit in the A tier along with Horsey and Seadra. It just makes sense. Visually, it's cohesive. It just, again, slowly grows and builds up into something a bit bigger. And I like that it introduces the dragon typing, because I guess it is like a sea dragon. I like that they didn't make it look like a horse. Okay, very good. Oh no, dude. Oh, dude. What are you doing? S. Bump up. I can't believe I've just left you this whole time. Vampy's S tier. What an adorable little Pokemon. Oh my gosh. Vampy's definitely one of my favorites of all time. I can't believe how adorable Vampy is. If I could have one Pokemon IRL, real life, I just want a little Vampy walking around the house with his little snoot. Love that little dude. 100% S tier. There's no question. Donphan. So Vampy evolves into Donphan, huh? There's another pretty wild glow up, huh? I don't mind the coat change or anything. It really does just get... It almost feels like we skipped an evolution, doesn't it? Vampy evolving into Donphan feels like we skipped something. And unfortunately, for as much as Pokemon loves to retroactively add evolutions and forms, they've never added a middle evolution before, because of course that wouldn't make sense. You can't add a middle evolution when we've already established, like, this Pokemon directly evolves to this one. But I wish they could. I wish there was some way to insert something in the middle here. Is it a boar or an elephant? I don't know what a boar looks like now that you're saying that. That's not an animal that I see a whole lot of. I mean, I certainly don't think Vampy's anything but an elephant, so I don't know why it would change to a boar, but... Do boar have tusks? They don't really look like it. Like, they've got little stubby little things. But, I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to be based off of a boar. It looks to me like that's an elephant. I mean, Donphan, elephant. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I think it's an elephant. But yeah, I'm gonna say Donphan. I don't know. It's almost just too much. Like I said, like I would be so okay with Donphan if this was a final evolution. But like going from Phanpy to Donphan, it's just crazy. Again, it feels like nothing is preserved. Like, where did the tusks even come from? Like, there's something forming there, like little baby tusks. It's like almost about to grow his tusks. And in the middle evolution, there'd be actual little tusks that stick out. And then there'd be these ridges that start forming on its back. And I just somehow we skip the middle evolution. I don't know. That kind of upsets me. I don't think Donphan should be B tier though. That seems pretty harsh. Let me just look up some more pictures of Donphan. Maybe I can get some different angles on them that'll change my mind. Certainly bigger pictures, that's appreciated. Nah. Ooh, I like the Pokemon Go sprite for Donphan. That looks really good. That's about it though. In general, I'm not a big fan of the Donphan design. Not bad, but I don't know, B tier. I think they really did Phanpy dirty. Again, if there was just a middle evolution, I'd be so much more okay with it. They got ahead of themselves. They skipped something. Who knows? Maybe they actually did have one, and they were like, "Well, we can only have 100 Pokemon for the generation, so we gotta start cutting Pokemon out." Oh, yeah, the elephant trunk's the dead giveaway. I agree. It could have been boar. Like, it was ambiguously an elephant before the trunk. Okay, Porygon 2. I put Porygon in A tier, didn't I? Yeah, Porygon's A tier. Porygon 2 stays A tier. I don't want to put Porygon 2 in S tier or anything, but I really, really like the idea of Porygon 2 understanding exactly what Porygon was, and then just saying, hey, we upgraded it. The graphics got better. And so they just kind of rounded it out, and it's starting to look more like what its design was intended to be. Again, very meta Pokemon, but whatever the in-game designers designed Porygon to look like. You know what I mean? It's confusing to talk about Pokemon designs, but also acknowledging that there's a Pokemon that is designed to be designed by in-universe designers. But anyways, Porygon 2, and I love the name even, just Porygon 2. What do you want me to say? It's 2.0. Perfect. It's A tier. They understood exactly what Porygon was and developed it. Stantler. Oh my gosh, another ugly Pokemon. What is this thing's head shape and the big poofy tail? It's C tier. Maybe, no, not D tier. I'm not going to put D tier for Stantler. I hate it so much. Don't worry. I don't like it either, but I don't think it's going to be D tier. Let me look at my D tier Pokemon again quick. No, dude. No, look. You gotta remember, Magmar is in D tier, okay? This is still a hair better than a Magmar, okay? It's a hair better than a Magmar, okay? We'll leave Stantler in C tier, but yeah, disappointing. Disappointing. They could have done a lot more with this. I like I don't know, deer, reindeer, moose. That kind of design, I think, would lend itself well to Pokemon designs, but they really dropped the ball with Stantler. They don't do that design justice at all. I don't know. I think this is really the biggest thing that sets it off. I don't know. Like, what is this? Why is it just got a big fat ball growing out where its tail is supposed to be? Very strange looking Pokemon. Smeargle. If I put this thing higher than a B tier, they're going to call me a furry. So we're just going to leave it there and move on. And not just any furry, but like one of those weird ones too. So Smeargle can stay there. I know how it is. Tyrogue. Tyrogue's a tough one to talk about, I think. So I've put here, I talked about this when I did the Kanto list. Where did I put them? They were B tier, right? Yeah. So we've got Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. And I think Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, design-wise, on their own, are really cool. They're not like A tier or anything, but I think they're solid for what they are. But introducing Tyrogue into the mix and saying, oh yeah, these are actually evolutions. What? Oh, whoops. Okay, well, good thing there's like cookies and caching. I hit the wrong... I hit back instead of the tab thing. I hate that, man. That's why I can't play Osu. Side note, really quick, that's why I can't play Osu. Is because my wrist control is terrible. It always has been. I'm like an old man on the mouse. I'm constantly misclicking. I get kind of close to where I want to go to, but I'm always just a little bit off. And so if I click too fast in response to where I put my mouse, I'll misclick onto something totally different. And I've really screwed myself sometimes. Just like with my browsers and stuff, clicking on the wrong thing and closing tabs and crap. That sucks. But thankfully I didn't just lose all my progress because I misclicked on the back button. Anyways, so Tyrogue's complicated because, again, these Pokemon I thought were fine on their own, but them introducing the concept of there's some root Pokemon that they evolve from complicates things because now you've got to design a Pokemon that somehow kind of looks like both of them, but neither of them have anything in common. Like, there's nothing between these two in common, design-wise. They're both fighting types, but like there's nothing to work with. So they've got to haphazardly design some gross mesh of the two of them, and it just doesn't look good. I think Tyrogue's a C for me, man. It's got like these, like the bands on Hitmonlee's legs and arms that are basically the only defining features of it. They put those on. And then it's kind of got clothes because Hitmonchan kind of has clothes and the weird little spike head. I don't know, it's just weird. And then to complicate things further, they made Hitmontop, which supposedly also evolves from Tyrogue. Why? Why did they do that? Screw this thing. I don't like Hitmontop. I don't like Hitmon... What's the name? Tyrogue? Screw the thing. I don't like it. I don't like... It's not like I dislike the idea of it. I just think they didn't do a good job with it at all. Oh no, now we're going to talk about Smoochum. Listen, okay, Jinx is a D tier, right? Jinx is D tier. I don't think Smoochum's D tier. I think they tried something with Jinx. They tried to help salvage it. First of all, they designed Jinx knowing that they had to they designed Smoochum because they knew they had to redesign Jinx. So Jinx is purple now. So they're like, okay, well, we'll design Smoochum to be pink, and it kind of evolves to be purple. So I do like that. I like that it's not hideously ugly. I don't know. I'm running out of compliments. I don't love it. It can be. I think it's fine in C tier for what it is. Elekid. Yeah, I'm gonna pop back to Kanto. Man, there are a lot more. I didn't even really realize until doing this tier list just how many Kanto Pokemon were given the Johto treatment in one way or another. I feel like half the Pokedex has been me remembering what the Johto version looked like or whatever. So we got Electabuzz, who I originally put in the B tier. Elekid. I like Elekid a lot, design-wise, just on his own. I think he's like an A tier. As for how Elekid evolves into Electabuzz, I feel like there's a lot of steps involved that are missing. Because the plug design's super cool, but it's gone. That's not present on Electabuzz anywhere. And I mean, how could it be, right? Because this is a design element that was added in retrospect to a Pokemon that, you know, came later, but somehow evolves into, so I feel like they would have been better without that. But at the same time, the plug is what makes it so unique. I think maybe just B tier. Because you have to think about this design coming later. They really do complicate things when they do that. They introduce a pre-evolution. Oh no, I got caught in 4K. You guys caught me downloading Fantasia illegally. Oh, never mind. I didn't even have to out myself because chat's blocking the Q BitTorrent notification. You couldn't have even seen that anyways. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch some old Disney movies. I'm looking forward to it. I realized that there's a lot of Disney movies I've never seen, like some old classics. I know that Fantasia, at least, is a really interesting one, like as an art piece film. So I was like, I'm gonna watch Fantasia. Screw it. So I have Fantasia now. I support piracy. Dude, I support piracy if it's Disney we're talking about. Screw Disney, bro. They're the ones that have ruined copyright laws for, like, our entire generation. I hate Disney. Down with that stupid company. I'll steal everything I can from Disney. Anyways. Elekid's B. Magby! Good gravy. Another one where we've got a Pokemon that evolves into a D tier Pokemon. So, unless it's terrible, I guess it's fine sitting in C tier. I don't hate Magby, but again, it is goofy looking, his little clumpy head. But Magmar already looks terrible, so yeah, understandably the baby's gonna look kind of garbage too, so I guess that's fine. I don't know. Stupid Pokemon. Just, I don't know why they had to bring Magmar back. Magmar was terrible. Just cut your losses and move on. The second generation comes around, they're like, no, we've got to save Magmar somehow. We'll introduce the baby version. And that still wasn't enough, so a couple generations later, they have to introduce Magmortar. We'll get there when we get there, though. Hey, we got the titty Pokemon. I can't remember the name right now. Miltank, that's it. Miltank's the one. Yeah, I don't know, I like Miltank. I like that they tried to tackle a cow design. I think it's cute. The udders, if you don't make it weird, I think it's great. As soon as you make it weird, you're making it weird. Am I running a VPN? Yes, I'm not an idiot. I'm running a VPN. I better be. Good gravy. I'll double check. Yes, Nord's got me. My IP's obscured. They'll never know as I stream myself talking about torrenting and showing that I'm using a VPN. They'll never know. Anyways, I like Miltank. If you don't make it weird, I think it's an A tier Pokemon. It's adorable. It's not S tier or anything, but yeah, I think they pretty much nailed what a cute little cow Pokemon would look like. And I'm glad Miltank doesn't have an evolution or anything. Miltank is a standalone Pokemon. I don't think they could... If they did anything to Miltank, I think they'd be hurting it. Blissey. Blissey. So originally, I put Chansey in the A tier, and I stand by that. I very much like Chansey. Blissey, evolving from Chansey. So we've got the egg, of course. That's the most important thing to carry over. So Blissey still has the egg. It's got these little frills on it that I guess are developing maybe from the idea of the kind of hair head things. Or no, I guess those just kind of curl up. It's got the same legs. Assumably it still has a tail. I don't think it's bad. I'm just trying to find some reason to justify putting it in B tier. I really don't like Blissey as much as Chansey. I don't want them in the same tier. But like I don't know if there's anything I really hate about Blissey. I guess it's just the white patterning that I don't like very much. It really should have just stayed pink all the way through. I'm not really sure what the white bottom half is all about. It's starting to look like an egg itself. I think that's fine. I don't need to justify it any more than that. I'm just gonna put Blissey in B tier. Blissey's like a chonk angel. Yeah, I think the design is supposed to be kind of like a cheruby or whatever you call them. Or cheruby's the Pokemon, a cherub. Because this hair shape is kind of what sells it more than anything, I think. Because that's kind of like that floofy blonde hair that they had in those old like Renaissance paintings. You know what I'm talking about? They'd always give those to like, maybe not cherubs because cherubs were bald, but I don't know exactly what it is. If you know, you know, I guess. I think it's fine, but I don't know. This is another one that's like an A- for me. I had an A- earlier. Who was the A-? I'm trying to remember who my A- was. Oh, it was Ledian. It was Ledian. Ledian was my A-. Yeah, no, that's good. I like Blissey, but in the same tier as Ledian. That makes sense to me. High B. Blissey's a high B. B for Blissey. Okay, almost done. We're actually almost done now. Look, we're down to the legendaries and mythicals and stuff. Let's go. Okay, Raikou, Entei, Suicune, legendary something or another. I don't know if they have a name. I was going to say legendary beasts, but I think that's a different thing. I don't know what these things are called too collectively, but I like them. Of the lot of them, Entei really is the best. Entei's so sick, dude. Entei's A tier. I really like Entei's design. Raikou, I don't know. Probably not Raikou. I think maybe down to B. The design starts to get a little bit confusing and convoluted with this one, I think. Not bad, but I don't know. It's no Entei, I'll say that. And then we've got Suicune. It's interesting because you got Suicune and Raikou. They've both got the purple coming out, like hair almost. But Entei doesn't have that. Entei's got like still like a wispy, smoky top, but it's not purple. And I'm glad it's not, because purple would look gross, like it does on Raikou. Or whatever this thing's pronounced as. And again, it's the sharp electric tail. They always do this with electric type Pokemon. They don't really know how to make this not look goofy, I guess. Raikou, Thunder God. I guess they are like elemental gods or something. fire, electric, and ice, or water, or whatever. Water, I guess. I saw the movie. I saw Pokemon Forever. This thing's dancing on the water or whatever. Cleanses the pool or something. I think really the thing I think that sets me off for Suicune is this giant stupid ornament on its head. It doesn't make any sense. It's got this massive looking thing sticking out of its head. You can't see it very well in this design, this specific sprite that I've got, but there is something foul coming out of its head. I don't know what's going on there, but Entei can stay as A tier. Entei, of the lot of them, is designed the best by a significant enough margin to put him a tier above. Hexagon? Well, the hexagon isn't like long though. A hexagon is like 6 evenly spaced lines, right? Or evenly sized lines. But this thing's not that. It's got kind of like a elongation to it. I don't know. Look it up yourself. It's not pretty. Okay, then we got these little guys. This what is this thing's name? That's a regular hexagon, is it? Yeah, let me look up. Now you got me confused. Suicune. Man, my typing is getting worse and worse as I get older. Yeah, no, it's long, right? It looks like a gem. It looks like a gem. Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's very strange. I appreciate that they're trying to like make it unique or whatever, but at the expense of like a cohesive design. So, not a fan of that. I cannot remember for the life of me what this thing's called. Pupitar? Larvitar. Larvitar! That's it, Larvitar. Larvitar, Pupitar, Tyranitar. That's it. Larvitar, okay. A little confused on this, because this isn't a bug-type Pokemon, but for some reason it goes into like a cocoon. I don't get it. Why does Pupitar exist? Why is this here? Like, look at this. Larvitar evolves into Tyranitar. Boom, you're done. Why is this thing here? Why is it a cocoon here? It doesn't even make sense. Nah. I don't know what to make of Pupitar. Yeah, a larvae. I get the larvae pupae thing, but that's a bug thing, isn't it? Or do I not understand what that is? Let me look it up. I'm probably just making myself look like an idiot that flunked grade 5 science class. Yep, that's exactly what a larva is. I knew that. That's good to know I'm not wrong on that. Vile looking creature. Pupae, insect eggs. Yep, okay, no, I'm right. They're bugs. Okay, so somebody tell me why then. What's going on? Why is the bug dinosaur? It's not even a bug type. It's a rock and dark type. What's with the bug thing? Very silly. It kind of ruins the whole thing for me. Like, I just don't get it. B tier for Larvitar. C tier for Pupitar. Tyranitar. I don't know, kind of cool maybe. At least it looks the same as Pupae. Or Larvitar, yes. Dumb names too. Screw these things. I don't actually like them that much. I'm just trying to avoid dropping them all into C tier. Because then I would have to drop Pupitar into D tier. That's really pushing. I don't think that's fair at all. I think this is fine. And for some reason, Larvitar in the anime, they made like a little crybaby. It was really weird. I didn't like it. They had this whole arc where Ash got a Larvitar and hatched it from its egg, but it was afraid of the outside world, and then they met Unknown, and Unknown like fused with Larvitar, and then Ash and everyone went inside Larvitar's mind and experienced its trauma of its mother being killed or something. I don't know. It was insane. I don't know what that like arc was in the anime. It was horrible. Tyranitar is A, literally Godzilla. Look, again, if Tyranitar was just on its own, remove Pupitar and Larvitar and just put in a Tyranitar, I'd probably put Tyranitar in A. But I'm just considering the whole package here, and I don't like that. The fact that we ended in Tyranitar, it's fine, I guess, but I'm just soured on the whole line is all. I don't love them. Okay, Lugia and Ho-Oh, I'm just gonna drop them in A. I don't know. They're really solid for what they are. I like them a lot. They're not S tier. I know there's some people that'll be like, "Oh, Lugia S tier." Again, I think they're furries. I think these are good A tier. So very solid legendary bird designs. I think they definitely excel past the legendary birds from the previous generation. Right? I put Zapdos and... what was the thing again? What the heck was this? Moltres. There's Zapdos and Moltres. I threw in B tier. I do still like Articuno. But I think Lugia and Ho-Oh really are better designed for what they are. They're cool. I like them a lot. They're good mascots for the generation. And Celebi, I love Celebi. I love Celebi. Celebi's at least A tier. I want to stop myself from putting Celebi in the S tier. Absolutely hate this stupid green onion looking fairy thing. Yeah, I know the naming scheme for Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. That's another one that took me years to learn, but I eventually got it, I think a year or two ago. Celery? I like celery, he's good! I like the design, it's like a little bud or something. Protector of the forest, time traveler, I love the rings around the eyes, cute little hands and the wings, just a little fairy. Little grass fairy. I like it. It's got the perfect design for like an obscure mythical Pokemon, because they've already established what they're going for with Pokemon like Mew, where it kind of like, it is a little off-putting and otherworldly looking, like alien in a sense. And Celebi, I think, also plays into that, but I think it's just a better design than Mew. I'm putting Mew in A. I'm very happy with Celebi, if I'm being honest with you. Okay. Well, I guess that's the list then, if I'm happy with that, and if you're happy with that, I'm sure you're not. That's my list. Compared to Kanto, let's take a look now. Let's compare the two Kanto and Johto charts. Why is this... How come I've got these zoomed in to the same degree, but for some reason... I don't know what that's all about. I just noticed it now. Anyways, here's the comparison. So in Kanto, I gave myself 7 S-tier Pokemon. In Johto, I gave myself an additional 6. And what can I say? I love all these Pokemon. I'm surprised to see Grass, the middle evolution of a Grass starter, in both of my S-tiers. That is kind of shocking. I don't think that's something that many people would have in their lists. So I don't know what it is with me and apparently middle evolutions of Grass or Grass starters. Sure, like my Grass Pokemon. I mean, so far we've got, what, 4? Yeah, 4 Grass-type Pokemon in the S-tier rank. That is pretty consistent. I would say Fairy types would be second. Yeah, I got 3 Fairy types. Is Wobbuffet a Fairy type? No. No, Wobbuffet's just normal. Wobbuffet's just normal. Can you tell me why Meganium is an S? Actual question. I just like the darn thing. So here's the thing, right? What elevates a Pokemon from A tier to S tier is purely personal preference. We're past the point of objection, right? A tier Pokemon are all just objectively good. To me at least, I would say these are just well-designed Pokemon. They're very good. And depending on you personally, you might take any A Pokemon, put it in S tier, and I wouldn't even argue with you. Because I personally think S tier is reserved for selfish, purely just, I don't know what it is, but this Pokemon speaks to me, right? So Meganium, realistically, could be an A tier as well. But there's just that extra thing about it that I really personally like, and I couldn't even explain it. I just like it. All of the S tier Pokemon are, I don't know, I just like them. They're cute, or they're cool, or there's just something about their body shape or their color. I don't know what it is. There'll always just be something that, like, puts it an extra notch above A for me. So I couldn't tell you what it is specifically for Meganium. You know what I mean? Same with Ivysaur. I surprised myself when we did the Kanto Pokemon, and I was like, I'm gonna put Ivysaur in S tier, because I never really thought about it before, but I really do love Ivysaur. Okay, well that's the S tiers. A tiers, I mean, not much to say. These are all just good Pokemon. I think for the most part, there's not a lot of argument to be had here. A lot of people would agree that these are good Pokemon, but I'm sure there's just a lot of people that would throw more Pokemon down here up into their own personal A tiers. There's like a couple odd ones out. Like, I know not many people would put Exeggutor in an A tier or Miltank, but I like those ones for one reason or another. Then B Pokemon, again, these are still not bad Pokemon designs. B tier are still acceptable. I don't really like have too much of a problem with these Pokemon. There's just always like a couple things about them that might be holding them back, right? C and D tier for the Pokemon that I truly do think need some work. Like, these are Pokemon that really should have been better. I feel like they were done dirty in one way or another. Or they were just doomed to fail from the beginning. That's basically the D tier list. Next Pokemon, Generations. What don't I like about Psyduck? Wait, where did I put Psyduck? B tier. There's not a whole lot I don't like about Psyduck. Remember, I don't dislike the Pokemon in B tier. There's just always just like one little thing. I think for Psyduck, it really is just, he's kind of a strange design for a duck. Like, it's just a little confusing because it's not just straight up a duck. It's actually like a walking, it's got a tail. For some reason, it's got 3 little hairs on its head. It's just an interesting little design. He's kind of cute, but again, he's almost designed to look unlikable in a way. The anime certainly makes him out to be very unlikable because he's annoying and doesn't listen and that. There's certain Pokemon that are designed to almost be like ugly or the odd one out kind of. And depending on the Pokemon and the story behind the Pokemon, I think it works. And I think in Psyduck's case, it actually does work. I like the idea of it having a headache. But for some reason, it's not a psychic Pokemon. I don't know if I brought that up when I was doing the Kanto list, but that always bothered me. Why? Like, why? Why have a Pokemon that's clearly supposed to be psychic, like, influence, but then not actually make it a psychic type? It's got the stupid bead on its head and everything when it evolves. But for some reason, I guess maybe they just decided they've got enough water psychic type Pokemon in this generation. Between, the Star thing, Starmie, Staryu, and then Slowbro. So maybe they were like, we can't do another one. But, I mean, really, they should have, because it just makes more sense. So, I don't know, just little things like that stack up and make me question why a Pokemon is the way it is. I'm glad I don't hate too many Johto Pokemon, though. And even then, again, I actually do quite like Octillery. It's just stupid, unfortunate external circumstances that apparently led to Octillery being where it is. Okay. So this is where I would end the stream. I'm going to put the end screen up, but I'm actually not going to end quite yet because there's something I just want to talk about now that we've made it to the end of the stream, and I was talking about I wanted to talk about the games themselves a little bit at the end of the tier list. So, I finished streaming Pokemon Gold a couple days ago, last week. I didn't love it. I hope I didn't come off as someone that genuinely hates the game, because of course I don't. I tried my best to reserve my complaints with the game because I know at some points they really started to get annoying, but ultimately I really do want the takeaway to be that I actually do like Pokemon Gold. It frustrates me seeing how much better it can also be, right? Because that does frustrate me. That's always been frustrating to me, to watch someone that could be better at what they're doing. Like, a lot of times I'd find growing musicians, they're making music, and I'm like, this is pretty good, but like, you're obviously missing this one thing that would make your music so much better. And that kind of annoys me. So I think I'm seeing that in a lot of these old Pokemon games, because I know how much better it gets, because I've played the newer Pokemon games. They refine on these concepts, and the pacing gets better and everything. The movesets get better. Design choices that are questionable or changed or upgraded in some way. Anyways, that's not even what I wanted to talk about. I'm really, really upset because I found out yesterday that I was emulating the Super Game Boy instead of the Game Boy Color. And that's why when I was playing through Pokemon Gold, it didn't actually have that much color. I was even making fun of the game for having a lack of color. Like, the overworlds and stuff still had pretty weak color palettes, and when it was nighttime, they just made everything green. I thought that was really lame. Apparently, this whole time, that was my fault, because I don't understand how emulation works, and I didn't grow up with this hardware myself, so I barely understand what I'm doing myself. I've never held a Game Boy before in my life. So I didn't understand that there was a difference between the Super Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, the way they emulate a Game Boy Color cartridge with the emulators. So I changed it, and I told it, no, don't emulate the Super Game Boy, emulate the Game Boy Color, and suddenly I've got a full color palette. The entire game is different now. And I can just show you, actually. Here, let me just pause the music. I can just show you. I don't even need to explain this. You can just see for yourselves. Look at how much different this looks. And it kind of upsets me, because I'm like, there's no way you guys didn't know this, right? Were you guys just trying to be nice and not tell me? Look at this. Look at the title screen. It's like full color. Like, the Pokemon logo is actually in yellow. Look at this. Look at how many colors are here. I am in a different color. Oh, hi. I don't care what Elma has to say. Look at this guy down here is green. The trees are green. The water's blue. This is the Game Boy Color, ladies and gentlemen. And I had no idea I could have been playing like this the entire time. You guys don't understand how much this upsets me. I feel like I tainted the entire playthrough. I played Pokemon Gold without color. The whole point of me doing this is to experience the Pokemon generations in order and see how technology evolved alongside the games and get the proper experience. And yet I feel like I missed out on it. Look at like the screen here. They have different colors for the things. For the different tabs. The Pokemon themselves fortunately didn't take a big hit. Because the Pokemon themselves already have pretty limited color palettes, so they mostly look the same. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't believe that I feel like I got a lesser experience of the entire package, you know? Look at the map! The map is... Look at all the colors on the map! Oh my gosh. And look at this. When I go up to Blackthorn City... Why am I not flying to Blackthorn City? Oh, because you don't do it like that, right? I'm thinking of BDSP here. Oh, fly. Take me to Blackthorn City. Watch this, watch this. Blows my mind. Look at the gym. It's lava! It's red! It's actually lava in the Game Boy Color. It's not just an ugly blue goop on the floor. There is a distinct color difference, and you can tell this is a pool of lava. So I'm upset, to be honest with you. I'm upset. So what I've done is I've started playing Pokemon Crystal on my own time. Because I personally want to get the correct experience for this generation. So... off stream, I'm playing Pokemon Crystal. I'm not streaming it because I just finished streaming all of Pokemon Gold, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to just play essentially the same game all over again immediately. I'm not going to do that to you guys, and especially to all the people that aren't even watching the live streams, and they just want me to get back to making music because they couldn't care less about Hollow-Base plays Pokemon Gold Part 5. They don't care, and that's fine. I don't expect them to care. But I feel bad for them because then it's just, okay, now Hollow-Base is playing the whole game again, but in color. So, am I going to stream the Kanto part? Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, instead of hopping into Ruby and Sapphire right away, I think what I might do is play through Pokemon Crystal on my own time, beat the Elite Four with probably a different team entirely, and then if I'm up for it, when I get to the post game, I will stream that. And then I can stream me going through the Kanto post game. It's not that long from what I understand, so it shouldn't be more than a stream or two. But I might do that. What am I using for the Crystal starter? I went with Chikorita because I like Chikorita a lot, and I like, of course, Meganium a lot, so I'm going with the Chikorita. I recognize that there's not a whole lot of options for fire types in Johto, but it's not that bad. Maybe I'll get like a Slugma or something. I don't know how difficult they are to get. But, that's hard mode? Yeah, but only if I don't catch other Pokemon. It's not like I'm only using Chikorita. You know? So I'm using Chikorita now, but I catch other Pokemon. All you have to do is catch a Geodude in the cave, and then you can take down Falkner really easily. So I'm gonna see you guys. I don't know, once I do that. So I don't know how long that's going to take. Sometime later this week. I'm using speed up. Like, I'm just burning through the game. I don't really care about messing up the pacing or anything. You know, the sooner I can get there, the better. So maybe in a couple days, maybe next week. I don't know. I also wanted to work on music, and I was just struggling with that. Although I did just think of something. I can actually share some music with you guys that you might enjoy. Just as thanks for having you watch me. Have I seen the new FNAF collab? No, I don't know what you're talking about, Marlon. Feel free to share. I said I wanted to work on music, and it just wasn't happening. So now I'm worried that this song is never going to get finished. So I'm worried if I don't share the little bit that I have shared, or the little bit that I have made, then you guys are never going to hear it. So allow me to share with you guys like a work in progress song that might never get finished. And if it does get finished, then lucky you guys for sitting through the Pokemon tier list all the way to the end. You get to hear a preview of the next Hollow Base release, I guess. Oh, look, a YTP and V collab. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. I'll check it out afterwards. Too bad I couldn't have participated, but obviously I chose to execute myself from the chat and friend groups that I was in, so obviously no one to blame but myself on that. Okay, I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to hear this. Oh, yep, you sure can. I hope that wasn't too loud. Hang on. Let me drop it a little bit. Good gravy. All right, here, hang on. I'm gonna play us out with this, okay? So this is a song that again might get finished at some point, and hopefully I do manage to do something with it at some point. Okay, bye guys. Thank you for watching. Again, I'll see you when I see you. I'm sorry I don't know when I'm gonna be done and ready to pick back up, and we'll play the Crystal post game together. But whenever it happens, I promise I'm working on it, and music and all this other crap. I've got projects in the work you guys don't even know about, okay? Hollow Base is busy, but also obsessed with Pokemon, can't stop playing it, so I'm just trying to balance those two things. Okay, bye-bye. Enjoy new music, potentially.